What's up, everybody? Welcome to my big gay live podcast that I'll eventually remember the name of when I say it and not sound like a fucking idiot. I am your big gay Viking Logan. With me is...
Lisa?
I don't know where I'm pointing.
And Megan.
I'm like looking at the camera.
Oh, yeah, because of the flip.
Yeah, I'm
no,
like...
I got you.
It fucked me up.
No, I'm here for you.
And then we've got the green screens in the background, so it makes it look even weirder. Like, you look like you're in the fucking...
I'm in the void!
You're like in the spirit realm. I don't know what's going on. Like, you
I'm
battled...
in the shadow realm.
You battled Yugi, and it didn't go well.
Oh, please, Yugi wouldn't throw me in the shadow realm. Fuck. You're talking about Maximilian Pegasus. That was his shtick.
No, Bakura did it too, after he got possessed by his Millennium Item.
Yeah.
And then Yugi had to fight him when it was Yamo.
Look, let's not even talk about the fact that there were eventually like 6 Bakuras running around.
That show got really
There was a convolution
that show
happened.
started really weird.
Speaking of weird starts, we're already in one.
You need to shift.
You need to shut your face.
Not that way.
I can't go that way.
I know, I'm saying
stable.
everybody needs to kind of scoot a little bit.
And you were also just
And now
the
Lisa's
opposite
just behind
direction.
me.
No, now I'm just behind you.
Ah!
This is a shit show, guys.
I've never
In case
claimed
you
that it
didn't
wasn't.
know.
In case you were wondering if we put any thought into this. Absolutely not.
Well, I think you mean primarily you, because you're the one who's in charge of the camera positioning.
I don't want to talk about it.
I don't want to talk about
He
it.
doesn't want to take any blame.
We all make mistakes.
Got 99 problems, and most of them are you.
That sounds fair. I buy that completely. So now we gotta figure out what to do because now Lisa's just hiding behind my chair. My ankle.
Well, your ankle can die in a dumpster fire because I want to see Lisa's
I don't know how
beautiful
far back I
face,
can
not
lean without
your
hitting the table.
dumbass.
I
You're
don't
fine.
know
You have a good.
Yeah, you do. You have like a good foot you can manipulate.
Alright, so Lisa's in view, I guess, now. I just have to sit and lean back like I'm fucking in a lowrider for the rest of this fucking thing.
Oh, poor baby.
You'll be alright.
Okay.
You all say that until the chair's like, this motherfucker's fat and snaps.
And then we'll be going, it's going down. I'm yelling timber.
There will be no time to yell timber. My fat ass is just gonna hit the ground.
As long as you don't hit your head, we're fine.
Oh, I'll hit everything. It's gonna be great.
You don't need another concussion. I have a video of him singing that somewhere.
We did do that at karaoke.
You and Bob did that.
Me and Bob did that at karaoke.
Anyway.
So, this is my Big Gay Live podcast. Anybody in chat, feel free to hang out and chit-chat with us, talk to us about what we're talking about, or give us ideas on what to talk about if you have something interesting that you saw in the news or anything like that. This will be uploaded to YouTube after the recording, but we are apparently now live every Monday at 6 o'clock Central Time on the Facebooks. To find us, it's under Big Gay Viking, all one word. Let's start off with a wonderful conversation about representation and misrepresentation in film and television. I can see all 6 of my chins. I don't like it. Yeah, I don't like this angle. I don't like this angle at all.
Yeah, well, join the club.
This is how I'm doing the rest of the podcast. No, give it back.
We can't see his top knot if you don't.
My protection. Okay, so you were talking about Frozen and how apparently everybody thinks Elsa's gay because a woman showed up.
Well, here's
Which
the
is
thing.
really
Here's the
weird
thing.
concept.
In Frozen 1, a lot of people took Let It Go as actually an LGBT plus empowerment ballad, and it just like snowballed from there, especially because the surprise villain, if anyone hasn't seen Frozen by now, spoiler.
This isn't Apex. I don't know how to put it on just live, so this is the updated version of Apex. It's just a fat dude and 2 chicks talking about gay people. Apex Legends Season 4 got real weird. It's just Gibraltar and his bitches.
God damn it.
I'm also the bitches. You guys are just here. I'm Gibraltar and his bitches.
Okay.
Y'all talking about Frozen. We are talking about Frozen. We're talking about misrepresentation and assumed representation in media. Apparently, Let It Go was a gay anthem.
So it just kind of got snowballed in there. Plus the twist villain, Hans, from the Southern Isles.
Was it really a twist?
It was. It was a pretty good misdirect.
It's the same name as the villain in Die Hard. It's not a good. When you're like, his name is Hans. I'm
He
like,
was
Gruber?
set up as a male romantic lead, okay?
Hans Gruber was not. It was way different in Die Hard.
God damn
Yes,
it.
it was way different.
He just-
Yeah, what a
There's also a
fucking
different-
shock! Frozen is very different from Die Hard!
It was also a different audience target, so there's. that
Hey,
too.
thank you for the share. Yeah, I don't remember Hans and Frozen taking over Nakatomi Tower and John McClane having to kill him at the
Yeah,
end.
what a fucking shock that is.
Oh,
Anyway,
man.
since he's the surprise villain,
That would have
he
made
says
Frozen so much better.
he says early on, he says late in the film, after he's been revealed as the villain, that obviously for marriage, Elsa would have been the ideal choice, but no one was getting anywhere with her. That's a quote. No one was getting anywhere with her.
That doesn't make it gay.
Well,
Yeah,
that's-
apparently, that's our thing.
Maybe
though.
she's just like me and she's like, man, relationships are
No
weird.
one considered she was asexual. Like, apparently, immediately she was a lesbian. That's why. Especially when Frozen 2 wrapped
Also
around.
had-
And one of the first characters that gets introduced to Elsa is this chick. Well, spoilers for people who haven't seen Frozen 2 and actually care about what happens in Frozen 2.
Anybody who wanted to see that shit has seen it, is all I'm going to say.
Right.
So, this fucking shit. Dude, there are people who yell spoilers about classic Star Wars, okay? I'm covering my ass.
I have to listen to this so I can make sure that you're not just destroying the ears of everybody listening, because
I know I make ears bleed.
fuck, you're loud.
Have we met?
We have, but I don't remember. Maybe it's because you're closer to me than you were last time.
Quite
That's
possibly.
also possible.
Quite possible. So, one of the first people that she runs into is a female character named Honey Marin. And they have a nice little moment by the campfire where all that's happening is Honey Marin says, hey, you know this thing about the spirits and how there's actually a secret fifth one, and they talk about the freaking lullaby that their mothers used to sing to them that were similar because, again, surprise, you find out that Elsa's and Anna's mother is actually North Aldrin. She wasn't from Arendelle at all. So
Man, you're just saying words. I have not. I've seen Frozen 1 when I was dating a girl who had kids. Didn't pay attention to that shit. And then Frozen 2 when they were like, they're making a Frozen 2. I'm like, I don't remember 1.
Yeah, I mean, but let's.
But yeah, she popped up there for that, and then we don't talk to her again. They don't have a scene together even until the end of the film, in like the last 2 minutes, where Honey Marin is standing next to Elsa with the village elder being like, you do really good here. And that's all that was said. But oh god, that was like, that's confirmed. They're gonna be a couple. It's canon after the
It also doesn't help that the one trailer that we got, where we got the snippet of Into the Unknown, she's following a female voice.
True.
That was something that they put in. When you hear the song, you understand exactly kind of what's happening. But she's following this voice, and they're assuming that because she's following this voice, it's going to be somebody that is going to be a romantic love interest, when that's not the case at all.
I wish they quit shoehorning love interest into children's movies, personally.
That too.
I haven't seen
But by
Frozen
being in
1.
Frozen
You didn't
2,
miss out
she
on
does-
much.
She doesn't have a love interest. She's just a badass bitch.
need one.
Exactly.
The only reason Anna had a love interest is because she had one at the end of Frozen 1 to begin with. Which, by the way, the entire, like, B plot...
Oh, come
is
on,
act-
5 seconds and Frozen 2 is spoiled for me. Sorry, Brad. This one fucking screamed spoilers. Like, I'm deaf in one ear, is all I'm gonna say.
I said. Anyway,
I said spoilers, god damn it.
I will pour this body armor on you and you will not care for it.
Do I get body armor? Is it like...
That's not that type.
Will I be invincible? Like that guy from GoldenEye? I am
It may,
invincible.
your hair may be invincible from getting a proper shower for a couple days.
What the fuck is in that? What are you drinking, oil?
Maybe.
Oh.
Maybe.
Megan's secretly a robot. Help. They've assimilated. They're taking over.
New conspiracy theory. Discuss.
Won't help his gaming with that body armor. You're not wrong. I'm fucking terrible. Anybody who watched the like 1 hour of Apex I played earlier just watched me land and like, oh look, a gun, and then I was dead every time. I'm just like, this is fun. Video games are great. Now everybody's just gonna talk shit about how bad I am at video games. Sweet. Anyway, misrepresentation in media. I like how we're talking about a serious subject in here. It's like, Logan sucks at Apex.
Because you didn't take the time to find something else besides saying we were playing Apex.
Look, I don't know how
Because you
Facebook
didn't
works.
want to take more than 2 seconds.
We were also a little late, so that doesn't help either.
We were supposed to be live at 6, and I looked down, it's like 6:10. I'm like, there's no time. In all reality, I could have done research the past 3 days. I just didn't. I don't want to talk about it. Have you tried not landing?
Most of him are him.
Just spend the entire game in the air somehow. I think you can if you jump from jump tower to jump tower. Like, okay, Brad, we're gonna try that later. I'm doing that. Anyway, so
But that was a, but yeah. So Kristoff, the B plot for Frozen 2 is that Kristoff, his poor, sweet,
Yes, Conch.
idiotic heart, is just trying to propose to Anna the entire goddamn movie. And he is failing miserably for 90% of it.
I feel like we should title this podcast like "Grandpa listens to granddaughters describe Frozen to him," because this is literally just me sitting here being like, "It's a movie, it's a film. They made it."
But the
It came out in November.
but the movie takes place like timeline wise. It takes like what 2 or 3 years after the events of the first.
Fuck you, Brad.
I think it's supposed to be 3 years after the events of the
Is
first.
it 3 or is it?
It's 2 or 3.
Oh shit! The hard-hitting questions answered on this podcast.
Okay, but
the
still,
Frozen
The
timeline.
the point is they've been dating
at least
for
4
literally years.
Right.
Literally years they were dating.
You don't have to get married. Just gonna throw that out there. It's perfectly fine to just date.
No,
Marriage
he,
is not a
he
requirement.
definitely did want to get married. It was not working for him. Okay.
He was having the typical guy problem of like he phrased something just a little bit the wrong way, and because of the events that happened in the first movie,
I don't like
it
that you're
just
pointing
got
at me.
thrown off. She took it way wrong. And he's
I
like,
can see
remember
it.
when we met and you were kind of naive about love? And she's like, you think I'm naive? That's all she heard. That is all she heard, and that's something that represents some girls, but does represent some small percentage of girls. I will not deny there are girls who will do that. Where a guy says a whole sentence, they hear one word, and all of a sudden it's an insult. The entire thing was.
And it's
But
fight.
that's not what happened.
And that's how the fight started.
That's how, and
And that's
everything
why
changed. The
half
Fire
the
Nation
time guys
attacked,
don't
man.
understand why we're arguing with them.
All right, no more talk about Frozen 2. We're gonna move on to the other things I want to talk about
Okay.
because I haven't seen Frozen 2, and I'm okay with that. Anyway, so misrepresentation in media. Another animated one. How to Train Your Dragon 2 or 3 or 4 or however fucking many of
I
those.
don't
have been.
remember how many.
There's 17 of them now. It's like Terminator. They just keep making them.
3.
Anyway, they gave Toothless a girlfriend in one of them, and the internet was fucking mad. Like, I got on Twitter one day, and it's just all these people be like, why doesn't you have a boyfriend? I'm like, why does it matter?
He's a dragon.
Like it's like, is it that big of a deal? They gave the dragon a love interest, which is already weird. And I guarantee it was all the furries. They're all just like, well, I can't cosplay with my boyfriend now.
And, well,
Settle down,
I
bud.
can't remember if it's Rough Nut or Tough Nut that's the girl. I want to, whichever one it is, whichever one of them was the girl twin. In the second movie,
The
she
fact
actually
that you know
had,
the names
like,
of the characters is just upsetting to me in so many ways.
she had, like, she was crushing on everybody in that film. And as far as I'm concerned, no one talked about it, which was hilarious to me. I'm like, man, this girl was being really sex positive about herself, being like, man, this is a really hot dude. I want him in my life. I want him in my life. I want him in my life. She was ready to have a poly life for herself, and, like, no one wanted to talk about it.
I think it's strange that movie apparently ends with a gangbang that I didn't know about. I'm going to have to go back and rewatch that.
It doesn't.
Fuck. I thought it was going to be good. Anyway, but, like, and I think the main issue right now that we're seeing in society, especially, is people want to be represented in things, but then they try and, like, cut and paste themselves onto characters that don't really represent who they are as a person.
And then they get mad.
And then they get mad about it. And
No, they're like, I wasn't represented properly. No, you personally feel you were not represented properly. They didn't give you a blank canvas person, where if they gave you a blank canvas person, i.e. if we could refer back to the previous cast about Neo from The Matrix.
Oh, okay.
He was.
I thought we were going back to Frozen 2 and I was about to get
No,
upset.
that's why I said the previous cast, you ignorant. Okay, anyway.
I thought you meant the cast of Frozen 2.
In the
Now I understand.
in the previous cast,
We call them pods.
We
Like Tide, because you ingest them.
do not confuse us with the millennials for the Gen Zs. For the love of God, we are millennials.
Tide Pods are delicious.
The boomers think we're the Gen Zs, but we're the millennials, and the millennials are mad at the boomers because they think we're Gen Zs, and the Gen Ys aren't even getting involved, or the Gen X's, whatever the fuck, aren't even getting involved.
Hopefully a good thing.
I know, no one's mad at the Gen X's for some reason. Even though the Gen X's aren't even trying to resolve the problem, but that's a whole nother problem. Anyway, so the deal with the Matrix is that Neo is a bland-ass character. He himself is a bland-ass character. He has, like, actually no personal agency. Everyone's kind of shuffling him along from plot point to plot point, and he just kind of accepts it and moves along with his life.
Well, yeah, he's the audience. That's the
he's
entire
supposed to
point
be
of
the
it.
audience. And so, because no one can do that correctly ever again, because otherwise it's just a bland-ass character, and there was no effort put into it or anything like that. Right. If they tried to do that with any other character at this point, they would either be like, oh, they're just trying to copy off Neo from the Matrix, or they didn't put any thought to the character. That's the two arguments that would pop up when...
That's right, folks. We take hardline stance on movies from 1997. Because fuck them, that's why. But no, I agree with you. Like, it's, and the one that I've noticed recently was, Rooster Teeth has a show called Ruby,
which I adore.
And they had a character, well, it's about to be a little spoiled for you. Not in a big bad way, but there's some characters like, Crow's semblance or his special ability is bad luck. Anywhere he goes, bad luck follows. They introduced a character in Volume 7 whose name I don't remember. It's been a minute. I've got brain damage. So.
Good. I'm glad I'm going to get spoiled for a character I don't even know.
Yeah, I'm not going to tell you their name, but it's a guy, and his semblance is good luck. So right off the bat, they're friends, and they're like, oh, they're buddies, all this stuff. It is never mentioned that they are lovers. It is never mentioned there are romantic feelings between them.
Oh, I see.
And then Tyrion, a bad guy, and
Tyrion Lannister didn't know Game of Thrones was in Ruby. I apparently need to pick this up.
Volume 7 takes a weird turn where it's just Westeros.
Hey, I was about to say, hey, I didn't think you watched Game of Thrones, but you're right. Season 7 does take a really weird turn to get Season 8 going.
Season 8 is the weirdest turn. But anyway, they introduced this character.
Predictions for Ruby, everyone.
Yeah.
I think Bronn will be king. No.
Said no one. Said absolutely no one.
Anyway, so they introduced this guy, and he ends up being Crow's buddy and all this stuff, and they're hanging out, and they're friends, and everything's great. And then all hell breaks loose. They put everything on lockdown. Team Ruby's under arrest. So his new friend is trying to arrest him because he's a part of the Atlas military and all this shit. One of the bad guys breaks out, and then Crow ends up teaming up with the bad guy. Not in, like, a malicious way, but to kind of, like, stop his new friend from arresting him so he can go save Ruby and them.
Okay, enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Pretty much, that enemy of the enemy. And then Crow ends up losing his weapon in the fight. Tyrion grabs his weapon and impales the fucking buddy through the chest with it, killing him. And then it's just left with Crow standing over his dead body when the military shows up.
Well,
and
yep, that sounds like the villain. I'm gonna kill your best friend, and then I'm just gonna leave you with the murder
internet
scene. You're
lost
welcome.
their fucking minds, though. They were like, how dare you destroy our ship? I'm like, you didn't write the fucking show!
Also, people want to talk about destroyed ships. Again, Game of Thrones.
That dragon destroyed so many ships.
Dude, like they brought ships in and killed them within an episode. It's so sad.
I don't want to talk about it. I'm
it's still too soon.
I'm still not over the red wedding, okay?
Still too soon. We're still worried about the red wedding. The purple wedding, nope, best time.
I wanted to kill that motherfucker when he came on screen.
That was so funny. True story. Fucking Jamie Lannister, or yeah. No.
Words are
God
hard,
damn
man.
It.
Some of us don't quite have the grasp on the English language that we would prefer.
Look, there are a lot of characters. Keeping them all goddamn straight is hard ass work.
No, it definitely wasn't Jamie. It was
Joffrey, the second Joffrey Baratheon / Lannister, because that's what his actual name actually should have been, walks up, like rides
That's what
on
you
a
get
horse,
with incest, though. You get a fucking crazy little monster.
rides on his horse on screen, and her literal first line, her first comment about him is like, "When do we kill him? When does he die?" And I'm like, he hasn't even gotten a fucking line in. Jesus, let him have one. Even though I knew he was an asshole and that's all there was to it.
No.
Her reasoning was, he looks like Draco Malfoy. Clearly he's gonna be evil later.
He reminded me of Draco Malfoy.
That's really mean to Draco Malfoy.
I know, and I'm talking movie portrayal Draco Malfoy, not necessarily book portrayal.
Jack Gleason, wonderful human being. Horrible person in that show. He's a great actor.
I know.
Goofy
poor
looking
Jack.
motherfucker.
I know.
He is a
Poor
goofy looking
Jack
bastard.
Gleason, like, literally after that show ended, he could not take any other acting jobs. It was so stressful for him. Like, he was getting legit death threats and shit.
Oh, we
because
can
of his
actually go.
character.
We can actually talk about stuff like that, and not so much misrepresentation, but misrepresentation does happen. I think it's awful. The internet needs to shut the fuck up. Realize if you want representation in film and TV and anything, write your own stories, create your own characters. Stop expecting other people to do it for you because that's just lazy.
I mean,
We all have fingers. We can use pencils and
not
pens.
to make you feel personally
We don't all have
attacked.
fingers either.
I'm actually gonna.
That was rude to amputees. I'm sorry.
I'm actually gonna put this out there, not to personally attack you or anything.
This should be good. And now I'm excited.
Because I don't know if you've actually seen it or not. But My Little Pony. Actually,
I am not a brony.
I'm like, I just don't want you to feel attacked once I start this sentence.
Not that there's anything wrong with being a brony. Just not for
I'm
moi.
a Pegasister. That's why I have
That's
to.
a word that I didn't know existed until now.
Pegasister, yeah.
I'm
Bronies
aware
and
of Pegasus
Pegasisters.
and sister, but I didn't know that you put them together.
Yeah,
and
bronies and Pegasisters. So I'm a Pegasister.
This is a learning podcast. We're going to put this under educational on YouTube.
And My Little Pony, for it needing to be a kid's show for children, can actually handle that relatively well to represent different nationalities, different backgrounds well.
And no, and that's not me saying that it doesn't exist, because there's plenty of stuff with good representation.
But my point is, if a children's program can figure out how to do it, surely adults can figure out how to do it.
Yeah,
and there's
but
a very specific way it needs to be handled. The people who don't handle it well need to take lessons from the media that does do it well. And even if you're on like a tiny platform, like even if you are just kind of a Twitch streamer and you just put up your little comics every time,
Can't
like
draw.
the
It's not me.
What?
I said I can't draw. I can't do comics, but I stream. I just want to be included.
I mean, I get what you're saying too, but to a point, like, misrepresentation happens when people demand a certain type of character be in a show that maybe it wasn't intended to be in.
And
And
that's
then
that's
when
the
they
part
get-
that bothers me. Is
yeah, and
Right.
then when that person gets shoved in and pigeonholed, they don't get.
It's okay, Conch.
They get. To be fair, the writers do try and write them in authentically and all the other
the
stuff.
issue is you have people like you have straight white males trying to be like, man, we don't have a female character, a strong female lead. I guess I can try. And then you end up with characters like Meg on Family Guy, where you have an entire writing room of just men who are like, we don't know how to write a teenage
Oh, you mean
girl.
you get Seahorse Seashell Party?
That's a word. That's a thing.
That's an episode where literally the moral of the episode, I use moral very loosely, that
So do most people.
the one time Meg actually calls everyone out legitimately on their shit, actually stating actual incidents that happened in previous episodes of the show for everyone being shitty,
How you doing, Heather?
that those people, like, when she calls them out on their shit, the rest of the family turns on each other and leaves Meg the fuck alone. So Meg's finally stood up for herself. She can finally be her own individual and no one's picking on her.
I'm gonna assume
But-
it's later seasons when they got female writers.
No,
Kevin,
no,
thank you for the
because
like.
here's how the episode ends.
Oh, good. There's more.
She's sitting on the couch with Brian, and she feels bad that everyone turned on each other. And she's like, maybe I just need to buckle up and deal with all the abuse so they don't kill each other. Which, in other words, the moral was, stay in an abusive relationship for the benefit of your abusers. Yay!
It's a cartoon about fart jokes and dick jokes, though. I mean, yeah.
But when they try and do a serious topic, they really fuck it up, and that's just
That's
one
because it's Seth
example.
MacFarlane.
I
Like,
mean,
he's
yeah.
not good at
I mean,
that.
there's also Cries of
If you-
Silence,
if
where
you
they try
want-
and cover, like, actual domestic abuse.
But if you want shows that are going to have, like, good representation, like cartoon-wise and stuff like that, you have to look at shows like Futurama and stuff like that. Stuff that's well-written, and yeah, the representation isn't great, but it also came out 15, 20 years ago.
Right.
And at least they were putting effort in back then that nobody else was. Like, nowadays, if you're looking at, like, modern stuff, there's a lot of representation in a lot of things. A lot of people get upset because the representation isn't in the things that they personally enjoy.
Also, like, another classic example of that there really was good characterization and representation, and it was groundbreaking for its time, was Star Trek. Like, having an interracial kiss happen in the show at
Isn't
the
that
time.
like the 70s or 80s?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was scary as fuck. People freaked. Like, there were like riots in the fan base on both ends of the spectrum.
Well, I mean, and honestly, it boils down to that is toxic fan bases. Like, toxic fan bases are literally what is killing creativity at this point. Like, it's got people who create things in a place where they're like, I can't create the thing that I have in my brain because it's going to be misinterpreted in a way that wasn't intended. And art is subjective. Art is supposed to be what the artist decides it is.
Well, there's also death of the author, and not a lot of, and it depends if they're willing to subscribe to death of the author. That they write it with their intent, but as soon as it goes
Oh yeah,
public,
as soon as it goes out, it's
it's
whatever
whatever-
everybody sees, and I
yeah,
completely agree with that. But at the same time, you can't go after artists for creating something that you
and that's how you,
misinterpreted.
yeah,
Right.
when that's how you interpreted it, they're like, that's not what I wrote, that's not what I ever said, but if that's how you saw it, then I can't stop you from believing
Exactly,
that's how you saw it.
and that's kind of the issue that we have now is we have all these artists and everything. Like, people are terrified to make new things. That's why we don't have original IPs anymore. Because anytime there's an original IP, it immediately gets shit on.
Right. That's absolutely true. It's all about the person's perspective. And that's a word that, and perspective and perception, those are words that I hate. Because I can perceive something totally different than you can.
Yep.
And that's the problem that we have, is that not one person's idea of what something means is going to be the same. And that's why they're trying to make these characters more blanket characters versus trying to make them specifically to one person.
Yeah, and then you get the opposite argument when that happens of people being like, this character's so bland, we've seen this character 100 times before. Yeah, you're comfortable with that character, because if we try and do a risky character, a lot of times, y'all get mad.
Yep, and
then you'll start
this
referencing...
exact reason is why we're on our 11th episode of Star Wars. Because they looked at it and went, people didn't get pissed about Star Wars, and then they made new Star Wars, and they're like, people are pissed about Star Wars, fuck! They put women in my Star Wars, and to be fair, in this original one, there was only one. So I guess that's weird.
Only one.
It was just Leia, and then, no, there was two. Fucking, what's her name?
They doubled
Mon
them.
Mothma. Mon Mothma was in there, too. But, like, you literally only had Leia, so when all the nerds saw, more women in Star Wars, no!
That's not allowed.
That's not my Star Wars. It's fucking insane to me. Like, I just don't understand it. It doesn't make any sense. And not to mention the fact that, like, if you're out there and you see something that you don't like, if you watch a movie or a show and you see an actor or an actress that you don't like, for the love of God, don't attack that actor or actress. They're portraying a character that was written for them. The fact that people like Rose Tico had to completely get off of the internet because people did not like her in Star Wars, or I don't believe her name is Rose Tico, her character's name is Rose, I can't remember her actual name, and that's making me look like an asshole, and that's fine, I am.
I heard that too. She was getting so much hate.
She got so much hate after that fucking movie, and that's not on her. They wrote her character a specific way. They were like, these are the lines you say, and then she said the lines, and people are like, fuck you. Nobody takes their anger out on the writers. Nobody gets pissed off at the director. Everybody wants to get pissed off at these actors.
You and I do all the time.
Intelligent people can look at the people who create things and be like, you did this because you didn't know what you were doing, and that's fair.
That is an argument Megan and I have all the time, where
All the
we'll
time.
see something, we'll be like,
all the time.
it would be so much better if they handled this specific incident
But that's
this way.
but that's not them. Even like certain reactions, certain inflections of like their lines. Like fucking Hayden Christensen gets so shit on for his portrayal.
And
in
that
his
honestly annoys me
segments.
because he's just doing a Mark Hamill impression.
He's
Yeah.
Well, and that's not even his fault.
That's Lucas. That's how Lucas likes his main lead characters. In
He-
fucking anything George Lucas has ever made, it is like Mark Hamill in Star Wars Episode 4. It is like Hayden Christensen in Star Wars Episode 1. That's the way his characters
A lot of
develop.
people argue that he's so bland and he's not really delivering his lines very well. He's delivering the lines the way he was instructed to deliver the lines. He did that take probably at least 50 times, and that's the take they took.
Exactly. Like, you can't, you guys gotta...
You can't get mad at the editing that was done.
The toxic fan bases are getting to the point where it's just beyond ridiculous. Like, it's so...
That's why there are certain shows I just won't watch, because the fan bases are just way too intense for
Literally,
me. And
the only show that I'll
I'm
watch
going
that
to
has, like, a
watch-
horribly toxic fan base is Rick and Morty, just because I enjoy the show. I don't talk to anybody
Oh,
who's in love with Rick and Morty.
Before people started going crazy with Rick and Morty, that's when I was really into it, and was like, I need to watch every episode as soon as it comes out. But after, like, the fan base got so toxic,
After
I
the
backed
Szechuan
off.
sauce incident.
Oh god. Yep. After the Szechuan sauce incident,
There was that
I
one,
had
and
to
then there was the
back
one where they
off.
got really mad at the female writers on the show, which pissed me off. Because it's hard enough for women to get like gigs like that, where they're writing on like comedy series like that that are geared toward a male audience.
Wait, which episode?
It wasn't an episode; it was an entire season. Like season 2, people fucking saw issues with it, and instead of being like, "Well, the writing wasn't good," they went, "The female writers are the problem because they're new, and these weren't the problems in season 1." Apparently, adding other ideas and other viewpoints is bad for television. Who knew?
All right.
It's fucking insane to me. Like, we need to really stop looking at... You can't take a personal ownership over something that you didn't create. You shouldn't take a personal ownership over something you did not create. If you want something to be a specific way, create it yourself.
There's fan fiction for a reason, people.
Exactly.
You exactly.
Rewrite it however you want.
Look at Twilight. It spawned off 50 Shades of Grey, and we can all fucking kill ourselves.
Literally,
now.
for people who did not know that, for like the 2% of people in the world who did not know that, freaking 50 Shades of Grey was a verbatim Twilight fan fiction that just got the names changed over.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Which, for those who actually did kind of like 50 Shades of Grey, but did not appreciate how, like, shallow all the characters were, there is a much, much better alternative book series that is similar to it by Sylvia Day, and was called the Crossfire series.
Learning new things. Educational podcast.
Oh, you want a fun fact about me regarding that
I don't.
kind of topic?
I don't. I really don't.
Oh, well, good. You're going to get it anyway.
Oh, good.
I started reading romance novels at the age of 15 because I'm a hopeless romantic at heart, even though logically I know hopeless romance doesn't work.
I like how you went like hopeless romantic. We're talking about like something that's similar to 50 Shades. That's not romance.
Well,
That's BDSM.
I know.
Which,
but
if you're into that, that's
if
fine.
you'll let me-
But don't
if
fucking
you
paint it in a
will-
romantic light.
If you will let me finish...
He never
So,
let her finish.
since
That was
I'm-
the problem. He was very inconsiderate as a lover.
Actually, wrong. There was like...
I was joking. I don't need to know.
Anyway.
Just a bad attempt
So-
at humor. Let it go.
Let it go. Let it go.
You should have known that's where it was going.
Don't say go.
Okay.
Trigger word.
So, no, specifically the phrase "let
Let
it go."
Yes.
You could have said anything else; would have been fine.
Just don't say it to the
Let
unknown
that go.
either.
Yeah, that's fine. But so when I was 15, I was like, I'm done with young adult novels. Those love stories are great, but I just want a really good love story to read. So where would I go for that? The romance section, right?
Twilight. Best love story ever.
No.
No, absolutely
No.
not.
I've
So
read all
I-
of those books. It's not good.
So I picked a book that the title seemed great. I read the back to kind of get a quick synopsis, and I'm like, this seems cool. Bought it, went home, and started reading it. and,
Masturbated
like,
for 4 days straight. Don't hit me.
You set yourself up for
I
that
did.
one.
I'm in the front.
It
That's
just
dangerous.
got racier and racier, and
I thought you were gonna say racist, and I'm like, what book did you buy?
She'll tell you in a minute.
Got real weird. They hated
wonder if
black
it's what I
people. It
think
was
it is.
fucking
No,
strange.
it's not. You've never heard of it.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
I feel like you've told me this story before.
No, because I've lost it.
No, I feel like you've told me the story before.
Quite possibly. I may have generally told you the story before. But I skipped over when it got too racy for like a couple of years, and then I started actually reading the whole thing.
I'm not old enough for this.
Like seriously, I was like in my senior year of high school before I finally actually read those scenes out.
What's an anal bead? What's a nipple clamp?
Hey, no.
I don't want to know your story about anal beads.
How rude of you to assume I have a story about anal beads.
Every time you go, no, wait, there's a story involved, and the last thing I said was anal beads.
No, I said no. Hold on.
That sounds like you're about to tell a story.
It sounds like you're about to get hit in the head with my shoe.
Who throws a shoe?
I do. Have you not seen Coco? They show their chanclas.
I've not seen
It's called the
Coco.
He
chancla.
hasn't seen Coco.
It's called the chancla. Well, the
Don't hit his
chancla is
head.
the sandal.
He gets another
Avoid the
concussion,
head.
it's gonna be bad.
Stop hitting me in general. Just leave me alone. Fuck. I didn't sign up for this shit. God damn it.
Yes, you
Yes,
did.
you did.
This is
Lies.
getting weird as fuck. It got weird as fuck from the beginning. There's no getting. It was already there.
I was about to say.
I was like,
don't know where we're going with
let's talk about misrepresentation in media. You're like, you know what's a really good book series that's just like 50 Shades of Grey? Speaking of misrepresentation and horrible, horrible atrocities in literature.
Yeah, that's a
I mean-
misrepresentation. It was really, really shitty for the BDSM community. I mean, yeah, it brought it to light on the one hand. On the other hand, it brought it into the light in a negative way because it did not represent the community correctly and how actual relationships work in that setting.
I'm really upset that you found a way to work that into the topic.
I didn't have to work it in. It was there.
I'm still upset.
He was not prepared.
I'm upset he's spaghetti. We got,
Okay, you pastafarian.
yeah, bronies got weird too. You're right.
Still on top.
Alright, so Birds of Prey.
So yeah, let's go back to that. Since we didn't actually get to talk about that.
We attempted to talk about it for an hour and a half last one.
Mm-hmm.
Last one?
Yep, we did.
Yeah.
And what was the other? Pegasisters. They were dinosaurs, Conch. Although now I really want to coin the term Stegasisters, and it's just women who love dinosaurs. Really into
Hey,
Jurassic
you know
Park.
what? You're a stega sister then.
I love Jurassic Park.
Sam Neill totally does it for me.
Mm-hmm.
That movie's amazing.
Please, everyone knows we actually watch it for the real star of the show,
The dinosaur.
Jeff Goldblum.
That's fair. That's actually fair.
Jeff Goldblum. Everyone watches for Jeff Goldblum.
I'm
Fuck
pretty
you.
sure
That's
Jeff
not-
Goldblum is like some ancient creature or something, because like
He seems to never actually age.
it's not just that, like he burrows away for like 10 years at a time, then he just shows up again later.
And
In like 50 movies for some reason.
Yeah, he's
and
like
then
in everything,
gone.
and then he's just
I
gone
know.
again.
Yeah.
And now Disney put him on like some weird show on their network. And
Yeah,
I'm
he's
like,
got his own like
I know. I
documentary
feel
series.
like I need to
It's like-
actually see a couple of episodes to
What
figure
is it? The world.
The World According to Jeff Goldblum.
I saw him. He was on Hot Ones.
I think it's him just traveling the world and
Yeah.
like experiencing cool shit and like seeing it through his perspective and
I would love to see everything through Jeff Goldblum's perspective.
This is accurate.
okay, apparently you need to start watching that show.
I can't dedicate myself to watch things.
This is.
I have an addictive personality, man. It's not good. I'm like, that one episode was great. I'm not sleeping for 3 days. I have to
You
see
sleep
everything.
regularly?
Don't start
Anyway?
watching Mindhunters.
I've watched season 1. I refuse to watch season 2 because I can't go down the rabbit hole.
Of Mindhunter?
Lori, thank you for the follow. No, the rabbit hole of like, because as soon as I watch Mindhunter, I'm gonna be like, man, what's the actual story like? And then I'm 17 podcasts deep on last podcast on the left, and fucking, I've got a pin board up on my wall
That's
with
true.
yarn everywhere.
That is an actual podcast.
I know. I listened to it.
Well, I was telling her
Oh, okay.
because she
Well,
thought
I
it
was
was
like, wait a
fun.
minute.
She's like, that would actually make a pretty good name for a podcast. Well, good because it already exists.
Yeah.
They just signed a deal with Spotify. I had to download Spotify to listen to it.
All right.
Ooh, they're covering the JFK assassination. I need to listen to that episode.
But the actual I like listening to True Crime All the Time and True Crime All the Time Unsolved, or as they're abbreviated as TCAT. Another one I like to listen to is Real Crime Profile, which for me is super cool because it actually has an ex-FBI agent on it. And so you get that actual perspective of someone who's been in the business. Like, he actually was in the behavioral analysis unit on top of it. And this other woman who actually works for Scotland Yard and has a really good organization about women who get victimized by people who supposedly care about them. So, like, romantically abusive relationships and like coercively controlling relationships.
Birds of Prey with Joker and Harley Quinn.
Yes.
Yo, finally getting out of that toxic ass relationship.
Please stop telling me your relationship is like Harley and Joker. That's not good.
That's not a good thing at all.
It's not.
But
We're
she
like
did end
Romeo and Juliet. Oh, good. You're gonna
No,
commit
you know
suicide.
who's like a real good Romeo and Juliet? Morticia and Gomez Adams.
No, they're not because they didn't kill themselves, and they
But
were
they would.
13.
But they would.
That's not something to celebrate. Fucking
For them it is!
fucking Kevorkian over here. It's like, yeah, I pulled the plug myself. It's great. You ever watch the
I
light leave
don't think
somebody's
you actually
eyes?
know what Dr. Kevorkian actually
He was
did.
the angel of death. He would do the fucking like same thing they do to prisoners, a lethal injection.
Yep.
I am very aware who Dr. Kevorkian is. I did an entire report on him in high school.
Yay!
I was that weird kid.
It's
On
like, we're gonna
multiple
talk
levels.
about. You ain't fucking wrong.
I know.
Where's Logan? I think he's making out with a dude under the bleachers. Logan's gay.
That or dressing
What
as a
is-
woman for show choir.
Yeah, Logan's in the back row with a wig on and a mustache. That's one ugly woman. You're right. I am.
Oh, I didn't know you were in Hairspray.
I am John Travolta. But John Travolta now, not in Greece, and it's not great.
John Travolta, the man who couldn't figure out how to pronounce ID.
Was that weird kid? I am still that weird kid. You're not wrong. Like, I have not grown up. I'm a Toys R Us kid. Hi, Sarah.
That's right.
Yeah, it's Sarah. Everybody leans in to read the monitor, even though I literally read it verbatim. They're like, he lied. What did
He
she
lied.
actually
It's not
say?
actually Sarah.
He's full of shit.
He's full of shit. We know Sarah. She wouldn't be caught dead watching Logan do anything productive.
Oh yeah, she would, because we're both on here. She knows it's gonna be a shit show.
That's what the new title
Okay,
of the
so,
podcast is. It's the shit show.
Well, should we get t-shirts? Okay. I'll ask Bob
Add it
where
to
he
your
got-
list.
We'll ask Bob where he got his welcome to the shit show shirt.
Yeah, right.
It's already taken. We can't take it now. Damn it.
I mean, he just wears a shirt. He
That's plagiarism, and that's wrong.
I mean, whatever. You can just have shirts that say shit show, because that's accurate.
Only here for Meg and Lisa. No lie. I don't blame you. They're the stars of the show. I just sit here. Like, literally, this one won't shut the fuck up. That one chimes in every once in a while, and I just sit here
That's
and nod
because
my
she
head.
won't shut the fuck up.
I nod my head and then hit my vape, and then I just say some snide comment under my breath.
Which
And 90% of her points are mine too, so it's just fine.
That one's
it's just
Meg.
any time.
That one's Lisa. My niece is calling me. Yes, Ella! Oh my god, are you down here?
Yeah.
That scared the crap out of me because the voice was just close to me. You want to be on camera? Absolutely
No.
not. I don't blame you.
It's a big no.
That was Honey Bunches of nope.
You're not
Nope, that
wrong.
is a nope fish from the I Will Never Go There River, and screw that a stand.
There's a lot of words to say no.
If you see the meme that goes along with it, you'd understand.
I don't look at. The only memes I see are what Conch sends me on Discord.
TikTok, the meme lord central at this point, man.
It's a red hole you don't want to fall down. But anyways, are we actually going to talk about Birds of Prey or now?
That's all the time we
Emancipation
have
of
for this
Hollywood.
week, folks.
No, it's not.
No, it's not.
No, it's not. We still have at least another hour. Fuck you.
Don't you lie to me. Don't you fucking.
Don't get his hopes up.
Don't get my hopes
Don't you
up.
fucking lie to me.
Words.
I was gonna say something. My brain just went. We're dumb.
Okay, so we'll just start talking about Birds of Prey, and whenever you feel like you can contribute something, feel free to jump in.
Man, this is gonna be a long podcast.
I think my favorite part of that movie is the representation of women that they had in that movie, and
Oh,
the
yeah.
more accurate representation of women in that movie.
Yeah, because they actually were very diverse in their characters and how they behaved.
Exactly. I think one of my favorite scenes in that movie, which they did talk about a lot, was in the main fight scene towards the end. There's literally a point in time where Harley Quinn goes,
Spoilers for Birds of Prey. If you haven't seen it and you want to see it, go away now. Go watch it, then come back and watch this. Continue. Apparently nobody knew the movie was out. I literally had a conversation with somebody earlier, like, yeah, I think we're going to talk about Birds of Prey. He goes, yeah, I didn't even know that movie came out. He's like,
They
I
did
just
not
randomly
do any
saw it.
really good marketing for that. You had a couple previews that were out beforehand, but nothing major. But
No wonder it bombed at the
where
box
Harley
office.
hands Black Canary a hair tie to
Yep.
tie her hair back while they're
You
fighting.
need a spare hair tie?
Like, that is the
That's
most
great.
accurate thing I've ever seen for
Yo,
females
'cause-
fighting in a movie.
Girls having a spare hair tie for their girlfriend. Yep.
I feel really attacked right now because I keep a spare hair tie in my jacket at work for my boss.
I mean, it's not a bad thing. It's just something that
A
anytime in
very
a
small
superhero movie,
idiosyncrasy.
yeah, in any superhero movie, you see them fighting and their hair's flowing, and we're like, this is not accurate. Your hair would be all in your face.
It's weird that that's the part you take. Like, there's a fucking teenager that climbs on walls and is named Spider-Man, but you're like, their hair is all over the place.
I mean,
That's a weird thing to take. There's one dude who does magic with his hands and can teleport places.
that's
One guy's in a giant suit of armor. He can fly and shoot laser beams. But her hair is everywhere!
You don't want to talk about that because the little things are really what get to me a lot of the
I
time.
feel that on
in
so many
movies.
levels. Don't agree with that bad point. Oh, fuck. Such bullshit.
But I mean, just in general, like some of the little things that I see.
I agree with you though. The little like details are what make it.
Right.
Make it feel and.
Not to
awesome.
circle back to 50 Shades of Grey, but there's an entire scene in that movie where she has to go to the bank and withdraw like $5 million. That's not logical. That's not something that's actually ever
You've
going to
never
happen.
been to a rich
She
people
was
bank.
she was so
I
angry.
was so angry.
You've never
she
been
was-
to a
she
rich
Any
didn't
bank
people
has
bank.
a limit of cash that they can keep in there. That's
She
just
was
the way
so
it works.
pissed. She was so pissed of that whole sequence.
My hair is down to my ass. Yes, I will agree. I forgot where the camera was. Looked the wrong way. Looked real stupid. Just gonna back it up now. Go back into my turtle
Thank you,
shell.
Sarah. Thank you.
I am going to turtle away. Continue.
But no, it's the little details like that of something that's so inherently incorrect that can really make or break a movie for me.
Yeah, but at the same time, though, you have to look at movies as being like it's a fantasy world. Like you can set it in the real world or whatever, but it still has its own rules. When a movie has its own self-contained rules, as long as it follows the rules it set,
Well,
that's fine.
Here's the problem. If it wants to follow all of the real world rules except that one,
Then that is the choice that the author made. That is the author's problem. They built that world.
The author's an idiot.
We all know that.
let's see. She
Who
was
who
an
wrote
idiot.
that?
I mean, we are
A
already-
Twilight fan fiction, right? Okay,
Yeah,
so
I mean, there's that too.
Who wrote that? What was her name? I know you both fucking know it.
ELJ, something like that.
yeah, E.L. James.
Yeah.
I knew you
I don't know,
fucking
I
knew you fucking knew it. I fucking knew you knew it.
I had to dig that one out.
Real radical stance here. Not a smart woman.
No.
Who knew?
I mean, it's just those little details that can really make a movie for you, something that you may not have caught on the first round, but that was something that they made sure that they focused on.
Right. And if it would have been a small detail that would have just stayed in the background, something they would have like hand waved, then whatever. We didn't see what happened.
These are
We
not the
didn't see how
droids you're
this
looking
happened.
for.
Yeah, if they would have had this is not the droids you're looking for moment, then whatever. It's stuff that happened off screen. We don't know. We just know what happened. If she would have just had the $5 million, we don't know how she got it or by what means she obtained it.
Oh my god, that would raise so many questions. Like, why did she just have $5 million in a briefcase? It was a ransom drop. She stole a child.
Yeah.
You start writing your own movie.
That's a whole other thing.
50 Shades of Grey takes a real weird turn in the third act where fucking main woman just becomes a
No.
kidnapper.
It was to save her own ass. It's a whole. That's a whole. Don't get
Sonic
us
the
at that.
Hedgehog movie came out. Because I am done talking about
Sonic
50
the
Shades of Grey.
Warthog?
Sonic the Hedgehog. Danky Kang.
To an astounding $68 million opening weekend, 3-day open, because I believe it came out this weekend, which was President's Day. So it got a 3-day weekend, and it beat Detective Pikachu, making it the highest grossing film ever based on a video game.
Which
Which
everyone
astounded me
has-
because I assumed it was Resident Evil. I didn't even think Detective Pikachu. I figured by like the 18th movie that they made of the Resident Evil franchise, people were like, "No, take my money. They keep making them."
I mean, and that is true for some people.
It's like all the people that keep turning up for Transformers movies. I'm like, "You're dumb. Stop it.
Really,
You're
I
the
was
reason. You're the reason these keep happening."
Really, I was gonna go Fast and Furious.
That too.
Hey, I don't give a shit. I'll
And
watch
being
those.
like, you're part of the problem!
Me.
You're part of the problem.
I am the problem.
But I think a
I
lot
don't
of
give a
that
shit.
also has to do with
You know what the difference is between Fast and Furious and Transformers? Transformers thinks it's telling an intelligent story. Fast and Furious knows it's bullshit. It doesn't give a fuck. It's just like, how crazy can we get? We're gonna have him jump from a building to another building in a car.
I understand, but here's my problem with the Fast and Furious movies. Is that
You only got the one? Shit. You're doing better than me. I've got so many. And I still love those fucking movies.
so
There's a spin-off and I love that too.
here's my problem with them. Is that yeah, they do not take themselves seriously.
Well, not anymore. The first
But
one tried.
Again, the fan base takes itself so seriously.
That's why I don't like
takes some
Transformers.
of the story so seriously, and I'm like, they're just bullshitting around, right? Right? And they're like, no, this is a very serious, intricate plot. I'm like, no.
What makes me laugh is it's literally a bunch of dudes sitting in a room doing storyboards, and they like draw up something cool, and they're like, "There's no way we can make this work in the movie." It's like, we'll make it work.
It's fine.
How are we gonna make
got
this story?
this.
He's like, "Story? There's a script for this?" We
I
just
thought
told,
we were just drawing cool shit we wanted to see in one movie, so we just throw people into the car.
we just told Vin Diesel to say things. They just make fun of Tyrese the entire time. That's the movie. And then we make Michelle Rodriguez fight another MMA fighter at some point in this, because it's gonna happen.
Yeah, there we go.
Sure.
She's fought Gina Carano. She's fought fucking Ronda Rousey.
I mean,
Michelle Rodriguez, 2 for 2 against professional fighters.
that's because that's how it was written.
I didn't say she'd win in real life.
But backing our asses up,
Back it up.
So-
back it up.
since you wanted to talk about Sonic for a hot second,
Sonic the Hedgehog.
I think a lot of, and I believe
go
when
fast.
we talked about this a little bit earlier, and we kind of agreed that the whole reason that it did so astonishingly well is because when they released the initial trailer and all of the bitching that came out of it.
To be fair, this is one instance I completely agree with the toxic fan base.
No, I
Because he
agree
looked
too.
like shit.
Oh yeah,
He did not look right at all.
He looked terrible. It was one of those things where they tried to copy his look directly from like the video games. Like they tried to deliberately take a cartoon and make it look real. And it didn't even pass into the uncanny valley for suspension of disbelief. Like it's when they did the live action Dr. Seuss films.
It cost them $5 million to remake that Sonic movie.
They probably should have asked for input before they released it.
That's the thing, though. You know they did, but studio executives were like, yeah, I'm sure it's fine. It's a fucking cartoon. Who gives a shit?
Right. But they were wrong. They were very, very wrong.
That's the fan base. But
And it's weird to me that Sonic has such like a devout fan base because the games are fucking terrible. Like
And-
Sonic 1 was cool.
that's part of the gag.
And that
though.
was it.
That's part of the gag, though, is that
They
there's
put out games
one-
like Sonic Boom.
There's one good game, and then there's like a slew of bad ones, and then there's like one really good one where you think they're on the upswing, they're coming back, man, and then
No.
then it's
And then
bad again.
Then they're back off the cliff, and it's a whole thing.
All right, so speaking of video game movies, what's a video game you want to see adapted into a movie that you think could actually do well? Because it's real hard these days to have video games that do well as movies.
It's hard as shit.
Like, aside from that fucking Warcraft movie, which did real well in China, and that's it. That movie made all of its budget back its opening weekend in China, and made none of its budget back in the United States because
Well-
nobody went to see that piece of shit.
I mean, it sounds like Witcher's doing pretty good.
But that's not a film. Like, I'm
It's not a
talking
film,
film where
but-
it's condensed into a 2-hour block. If you do it like a series, video games work as a series because you're telling an intricate story over a long
Now,
period of time.
asking that question, are you saying it has to encompass like the entirety of what we know of the game?
No, just a film based on a property.
But yeah, so it could be like a series in theory. What could carry on is
Look,
like,
if you
a
think your
decent
pitch is good enough to get a sequel, by all means, you go ahead and pitch that shit. Let's see what you got, champ.
But like I said, I was just wondering,
Resident
what are
Evil
my
got
projects?
98 movies, and they were all terrible.
Look, that's why I wasn't gonna go down that.
Kingdom
route.
Hearts, that I like that. Kingdom Hearts. Sarah's got a good one. Kingdom Hearts. I think the only issue with Kingdom Hearts
It's got
is
too many plot holes even for its own fan base.
not even that, just licensing.
Yeah.
Thank you
my-
for the like.
Oh, you want to know what was a big licensing nightmare way back in the day?
Even recently, Ready Player One was a bitch to get made.
Oh, Who Framed Roger Rabbit was even more of a bitch.
Yeah, that's fair. Good movie. I thoroughly enjoyed
because
that movie.
the characters from both sides of the aisle had to have equal screen time at all times.
What word did you just try to say? Because it wasn't screen time. You said screen time. Screen.
I think Shoebix.
Video game movies are terrible. Too much info for time restriction. That's why I said it works better as a series. Like Witcher, I think, is a prime example of what you can do with a video game based on a series. But when it comes to like movies and stuff like that, it is a property that can transfer, but you have to do it intelligently. Like you can't try and cram a 60-hour game into a 2-hour window or an hour and 45 minutes.
You have to know where to cut off.
You have to know what part of that story is important. Like in a video game, you don't need to cover all the side quests in a movie. Like you can get through most video games, the main plot of most video games, in about 2 or 3 hours. What usually ends up bogging you down is all the side quests, 100%ing it.
You know what I could see producers trying to make into a movie, and it would epically bomb, and it would be really sad.
You know what's really sad is I was gonna make a joke and say the Dead or Alive series, but then I remember they made a fucking movie about Dead or Alive. That's a game about women who play beach volleyball. That got a movie. Still haven't had a Halo movie, but we got fucking Dead or Alive.
so
Can't even do Dragon Ball Z right,
Elder
but
Scrolls
Dead or Alive.
Skyrim.
Just 2 hours of a guy trying to climb a mountain.
I know, it's something they would try to make into a film, make it interesting and cool, and they would epically bomb it. I could see producers trying to do it.
I just like the idea, like the first cut of the movie was 17 hours long.
Because here's
14 of them were him trying to get up that mountain.
The story in of itself is not bad. Like, you figure you just a person who got wrongfully arrested. You're about to get fucking executed. Your head's about to come off. Like, literally, the executioner's axe is hanging over your head, and then a dragon just drops down, like, 100 feet on the castle wall in front of you. And then you just have to inevitably fall into a side of who you're going to fall for, which that would be another pitfall, is figuring out how to make that storyline work, because since you can choose which side you're on, the executives would have to choose which side they'd want to be on, because whichever side they picked, they'd get flack for the not picking the other side.
I don't think I've played Elder Scrolls in 10 years. My main memory of that game is trying to climb a mountain. And that dude asking me if I'm finally awake. Those are the two things I remember from that game.
Wait, did you not play Elder Scrolls Skyrim?
Oh no, I absolutely did. That's all I remember. I'm pretty sure I 100%ed that game too. I put like 120 hours into that fucking game. I don't remember.
I'm still putting hours into it because I'm trying to make my houses absolutely perfect and 100% filled.
I mean, you do you, boo-boo.
This is why I'm sunk into a game like Stardew Valley, when there's like
I refuse to play it because I'll quit my job.
At least you can admit that.
There's certain games that I look at and I'm like, man, I really want to play that, and then the back of my head goes, don't do it. Don't you? You have a life.
But what would be?
But I want to make a farm.
And that failed too.
They tried to make Mega Man. When did they make a Mega? Are you talking about Astro Boy? Because I remember that one. When the fuck did they make a Mega Man movie?
Well, Astro Boy is like discount Mega Man. Let's be honest.
He came first, so Mega Man is discount Astro Boy. Spyro movie? That would be pretty cool. I could be into a Spyro movie. If you just covered like the first game, that would be pretty neat.
The original Spyro the Dragon, it like
Thank you
depending which design they'd want to use. Oh fuck, because his design has gotten trashed.
No man, you do it like 1995 graphics, where it's just pixels. It's just blocky ass Spyro running around saving up a blocky ass dragon.
And all the
Dude, don't play with my emotions, because I still have that clanky ass bullshit, and I play it on the reg.
I have the remastered version because it released on Xbox One. My PlayStation 1 is literally right there on that shelf.
Have you noticed when you play the remastered, the background music is fucked a little bit?
I'm going to be honest, I haven't actually listened to it while I played it because I was streaming when I played it.
There was a friend of mine who, like,
it's just satanic chanting. You're like, Spyro's weird
There
now.
was a friend of mine who was playing it, and while I was listening to it, I was getting more and more frustrated as the minutes went on, because there were sections of the music where it would, like, slow down epically and then speed up real quick to catch up to where it should have been already.
Oh, that's just a glitch in the audio. Like, I don't think that was...
Like,
that's probably not on every game. That was probably just the game not running correctly. My pick for a video game that should be made into a movie is Legend of Zelda.
Which one?
Ocarina of Time. The best Zelda.
You two are about to fight. I can see it.
It's
debatable.
To me, it's the best Zelda because it's the one I grew up with. It's the one that has everything nostalgic for me. It's the one that was my introduction into it. That was the one that made Zelda
There was a lot of
big
people,
part of my life.
There was a lot of
For some people, that game's Wind Waker because it was such a big deal when it came out because it was so different. And I completely understand that Wind Waker
and it was
is
completely
amazing.
panned when it initially came out, and then when people actually played it and realized what the fuck it was, they're like, "This is fucking amazing."
No, it's a fucking awesome game. Wind Waker is great, and then for some people, it's Twilight Princess. For other people, it's the original Legend of Zelda.
Majora's Mask.
I do love me some Majora's Mask. It is a very good game.
Logan wanting Zelda movie. No, didn't see that coming at all. No, was it the Triforce tattoo on the hand that sold you?
Was it that was like, he doesn't like Zelda? Next, he's gonna say Dragon Ball.
No, you know what would be a great video game to make into a movie?
Leisure Suit Larry.
Dig Dug. They already have Leisure Suit Larry. It's fucking called Austin Powers.
Nah, Austin Powers is way more charming than Larry.
In what universe?
Okay, no sass. Don't tell me not to sass you on my own podcast.
I don't know why I'm doing accents. It's getting weird.
I don't know. You just kind of started.
You want me to challenge you on the weirdness level of voices? Because I am...
Let's not.
Do we want to go down that route?
No, we don't.
Dobby is a free elf.
Nope. It's gonna get worse.
It's
Don't
not gonna
challenge
get,
her.
It's not gonna get better. I'm not challenging anybody. I literally just said that joke at work earlier today. You said voices, and my head was like, do the Dobby voice. Because that's how my brain works. It's like there's point A, point
We
B.
do all love some Harry Potter, so that's...
There's point A, point B. There's supposed to be a synopsis in the middle that it's supposed to be fired upon, but my brain just goes, nope. And just skips it completely.
I don't know that actually Ocarina of Time in of itself could make a good film, though.
Are you out of your fucking mind?
Because here's the thing.
It's Game of Thrones for children. It's literally what it is.
But no... Because here's the thing.
All you gotta do is remove the Islamic chanting
You'd
from the
have
Shadow
to
Temple.
make the water temple interesting somehow and not a fucking bitch.
You can just skip the water tower.
You can't skip the water temple.
You absolutely can. If you're
Everyone
streamlining...
remembers the water temple.
It doesn't matter, though. If you're streamlining a film... Streamlining, not liming. Limes are delicious, but not a part of the movie-making process. If you're streamlining a film and you're trying to get from point A to
So
point
what?
B...
Are we going to hand wave all the temple montages?
Absolutely not. Like, there's no It's not a fucking 80s rom-com. We're not gonna have a part where Link's just like trying on tunics.
Well, if we're going to hand wave the water temple, then we have to hand wave all the other temples too.
But no, what I'm saying, Lisa smack him. Don't fucking smack me. Stop.
Why? Why am I getting
too.
beat up? Just wanted to have a good time and talk.
It was a chat request. We can't refuse chat
You
requests.
absolutely can. Don't tell them that. They'll start requesting weird shit. Don't give them that power. Logan, take your shirt off. No! Anyway.
I'm sorry, I can't take my shirt off. It's glued onto me. It's impossible.
That's not how
I've been
shirts
wearing
work.
the same clothes the last 4 days. I'm actually wearing the same outfit every day. I just have to put other clothes on top of it. So then people think I can get out of my clothes.
Oh, okay, so you take the outfit off that was on... I thought you just meant you kept adding to it. It's like you're just going to be a giant ball of clothes. It's like, I put on 48 shirts. I'll take them off.
They're my best friend,
That would
so I
solve
will.
the problem of being cold all the time, though.
I mean, it would.
Be living in a sauna. But no,
Which
like
would be
you...
perfectly fine for her.
You
No.
can streamline The Legend of Zelda, but yeah, you'd probably have to remove some of the stuff with the temples because you're not going to have a 19-hour movie. But if you're going to make the right movie, it has to be, what, an hour and a half to 2 hours long, you figure, for a runtime. Although I would love to see a 3-hour cut of The Legend of Zelda movie. It would be great. It's not going to happen because studios don't make 3-hour movies anymore, unless you're fucking Martin Scorsese. Because then you make 4-hour movies and you're an asshole.
That's why you just pause 2 hours in and take a break.
It's like, this is part 1, part 2 tomorrow. But no, you'd have to tell the main story. Like, the temples aren't the important part of the story of The Legend of Zelda. The story is Link versus Ganon. It's involving Zelda. Like, you have to tell some of the temple stories because you need the Gerudos, you need the Zoras, the Kokiri, all that stuff. Like, there's certain elements that you have to take. But you can get there without having to be like, and this is every step-by-step rendition of the water temple. Make sure you play the fucking ocarina 86 times to change the water level.
They do have to show the freaking bullshittedness of the water temple at least a little bit.
Look, like, you can just have a throwaway line. Just have Link just standing there.
Give me like a 2-minute cut of him trying to like get through some phases of the water temple, and like he falls off the one platform for the 800th time.
No, it's just
like,
him standing.
Do a cut of that where he's falling off the same platform like 18 times.
No, you just do a cut where it's like SpongeBob, like you will see him walk into the water temple and he's like excited, and it's like 12 hours later. And he's like, if I had to raise this fucking water level one more time, I swear to God. Ganon can win. Ganon wins. It's fine. I'm cool with it.
So what are we gonna do about him actually learning to play the ocarina, though?
No, you just have fucking the little elf chick. What the fuck's her name? Ceres, no, Ceres, who you yell at you're on your phone.
Or are we hand waving that too?
I can't remember her name.
But are we hand waving learning the ocarina too?
No, it's an important part of the story because that is a huge factor in that
So
story.
here's another thing that's going to be incredibly boring: him having to learn all the songs to actually get to what he needs to do.
Oh no, you can magic that shit up. Just be like, and now he's learned the song.
He's looked at the stone. The writing's disappeared. The song's tune has immediately teleported into his brain. He knows it now.
There's an entire section of that game where you teleport by playing music, and you're gonna fucking yada yada how bullshit it is that he learns music by looking at it. This goes back to my argument about, like, she deposited $5 million in a bank. So you're picking the wrong things to be mad about, is all I'm saying.
Have you met a woman ever, though?
Don't attack me about the bank thing. I work for a financial institution. It's bothered me in every movie I've ever seen.
It's the same thing. It's like her hair is flowing everywhere. It's like, yeah, don't mind the giant metal man flying through the sky. That's not important.
That's what I
Well,
expect.
no, here's the sad thing, though, is that there are pieces that people, like, hand wave of, like, oh, it's movie magic, so it has to work. No, there are some of this shit where it would actually work in real life if they wanted to dedicate the time and energy to do it.
Did you hear that, folks? You too can learn magic like Doctor Strange.
Not that specifically, and also,
It's a portal.
also the ancient one does not actually explicitly say magic exists.
According to Thor, where he comes from, science and magic are the same.
Exactly.
That's stupid. That's bad, and you should feel bad.
Hey, I'm sorry, when when alchemists figured out how to do the most basic shit, they were fucking magicians. The first person who made a bottle of wine and figured out how to make that work, they were fucking magicians.
They didn't do anything. They left some grapes out longer than they intended to, and they're like, man, that fucks you up when you eat them.
Yeah, and when they just started introducing that to people, yeah, they were like, oh, fuck, this person's fucking magic, man.
No, they were like, these grapes are fucking magic.
Do you realize?
It's like the first person who took a fucking shroom out of the wild was like, I'm seeing so much shit.
The entire reason people thought seasons happened was because of its whatever mood the gods were in at that time of their lives. And then realizing when it was doing it on its own, regardless of whatever the fuck their gods were doing.
It's really weird. God gets happy and it's sunny at the same time every year.
Exactly.
Is this the one time a year his wife gives him head? Dude's got the happiest disposition from fucking June to August. Can't figure it out. Dude, cheery as fuck. He's just smiling. She's on the rag from fucking like November to February. She's just frigid and cold.
The legitimate reason why the Greeks thought that fall and winter happened was it was the time period where Demeter lost Persephone to Hades, and she stayed in the underworld during those months.
I just like the idea that somebody lost anything to Hades because I can only think of him from the Hercules movie when it's fucking what's his name doing the voice? Who does his voice? James Woods. The fact that anybody could lose anybody to James Woods is astounding to me. Ooh, piece of candy. Ooh, piece of candy.
That's also an interesting conversation that we had
Not too long ago.
Yeah, is that we would like Disney to do a live action Hercules.
Didn't know where we were going with that. I was like, yeah, we fucked James Woods. It's like, why?
We weren't going there.
Why would you make that choice?
No, if we want to talk about silver foxes that we would fuck. Fucking Pierce Brosnan, man.
Accurate.
Pierce goddamn Brosnan, one of the original James Bonds, and he still looks amazing.
Not original.
He's one of the originals, I said, you ding-dong.
Yeah, but you can't start a series in like the fucking 60s and then when the dude gets it in the 90s, you're like, one of the originals. It's been 30 years.
He's iconic for it, though.
He had one good movie. That's like being like, man, Michael Bay's such a hell of a director. He made one movie that was worth shit. Bad Boys 1 was legit. Look, GoldenEye's awesome. I love GoldenEye. But his other two are fucking terrible. Name them.
Casino Royale.
It's not Pierce Brosnan. That is
No.
Daniel Craig.
Oh, I thought you were asking me to name.
No, I'm
his
saying name the
favorite
other
ones.
two Pierce Brosnan Bond movies, not GoldenEye.
Oh, that's what you were wanting me to know.
Yeah, can you?
Frankly, I can't name a James Bond movie.
You just named Casino Royale, so you pulled off something.
That was a guess, just because I'm like, I know it's related to the Ocean's movies in some way.
I think he played cards.
Oh, it's right, it was Casino. Well, and also, I remembered it because, since you brought up GoldenEye, I thought of Kingsman Golden Circle, and there's you don't want to go down the rabbit hole of how my brain can get to Casino Royale from there.
Your brain is just a Wikipedia article.
It really is.
Not Bond movie,
Would
but
you like
Mamma
to learn
Mia.
more about the
Mamma
term
Mia's not
parlor
a
tricks?
bad movie. Mamma
Yeah, I
Mia's
mean,
alright.
Pierce Brosnan and Mamma Mia.
Yeah, Pierce Brosnan and Mamma Mia.
It's just weird that you went to like, he's an original Bond.
I
Not
mean,
even a little.
He is one of the originals.
He's not. He's not. He's not. He's really not. Sean
I'll put it
Connery,
this way.
Roger Moore, like there were like 5 or 6 before he got the role.
But were any of them any good, though?
Sean Connery
Do
and
they
Roger Moore were
count?
fucking amazing.
Do they count, though?
Out of all
This
of
is her
them,
personal
hold on,
attack
hold on,
on
hold on,
Pierce
hold on.
Brosnan, so-
Out of all of the Bonds, Pierce Brosnan is probably the fucking worst. Yes.
No, she's gonna argue this until the day she
He is
dies.
absolutely probably the worst. GoldenEye, great fucking movie. GoldenEye's a great fucking movie because he's a good villain.
No.
Sean Bean is what makes that fucking movie. And
Sean
much
Bean
like-
makes everything, though.
That's because he dies.
Poor thing.
Here's
really
the sad
weird.
part, though. As much as people tout Sean Bean die so much, he actually is not the person who's died in the most films. There's actually a guy who's died in more films than
Yeah,
he
it's
has.
that one extra who's always in the background in a body bag.
No. No.
Morgan Freeman.
No.
Shit.
He's God. He can't die.
I'm Morgan Freeman. I
Please,
won't be
if Morgan
dying in this
Freeman
picture.
narrated anything, we'd listen to it.
This is
No.
also
I'd
accurate.
narrate I'd listen to his description of watching paint dry and be wrapped for like the next 10 hours.
I need Samuel Jackson. I need more uses of motherfucker than that.
I mean, that's accurate too.
Why the fuck we watching this motherfucking paint dry? I'm like, you're
Do
right,
you
Sam.
know why Samuel L. Jackson actually agreed to be in fucking Star Wars?
Because he wanted a purple lightsaber.
Yeah, he wanted a goddamn purple lightsaber, and they're like, there are no purple lightsabers.
He's
There's
like,
one now.
I love that story where he's like out there like filming a battle scene. They're like, here's your lightsaber. He's like, that's not purple. He's like, what?
Oh, wait a minute.
He's like, nah, man, I get a purple lightsaber. Like, George, he's like, he said he gets a purple lightsaber. So,
Listen, you don't argue.
Wasn't there another movie where like he was just kind of walking by near the set during like a break time, and he's like, "Oh shit, you're filming this movie? Can I come in?"
I feel like that's how he got the role for Snakes on a Plane.
Probably.
He just walked in, like, that part didn't exist. There was no Samuel Jackson. He just walked in. He's like,
Can I come in?
look at these motherfucking snakes on his motherfucking plane. Can I be in this movie? Can you say that in the movie? Yes.
Have you met me?
No, I feel like there legitimately was a moment where he was like walking by a set and realized they were like filming like XYZ movie, and he's like, "Oh shit, can I come on?" And they're like, "Yeah, you can do a quick little one-off. Why the hell not?"
I can't think of any movies that just randomly have Samuel Jackson pop up where he wasn't involved. The other guys is literally the only one I can think of because he's in it for 5 minutes.
I don't know.
And he is the best part of it.
Maybe it was no. I think it was actually maybe a TV show.
Oh, I'd buy that 100%.
Yeah, maybe a TV
Yeah,
show.
Some
probably a
random
TV
TV
show.
show so that only films in Canada that nobody's ever seen.
Right.
Like they're watching Degrassi and then just Sam Jackson pops up in the back of the hallway. You're like, what the fuck was that?
Fucking Degrassi, man.
Oh man, that went downhill.
I never watched that.
You never
Degrassi.
watched it?
I never watched Degrassi.
Look, that's how Drake got crippled.
That's exactly how Drake got crippled. That was actually a really good show. They handled a lot of good, serious content on there very, very well.
If you want representation, go watch the beloved Canadian show Degrassi.
I mean, that they did it really well.
Not
They
the
did it really
not
early
the
on.
worst comment though.
Yeah, I mean,
I get a good one in everyone. Why do you sound surprised?
what?
Like, he didn't say something stupid. Holy shit. Wheelchair Jimmy Drake. Makes it sound like he's like in a game of murder ball. Like, now coming to the ring.
I mean,
Wheelchair Jimmy Drake.
there was a lot of things that Degrassi was handling first that they did really well.
School shootings.
hmm They also had an openly gay character after a while and kind of went through him struggling with that. They did a really, really good job with that. Did you
Weird
like Marco?
No, I was saying that I'm the
Shows
openly gay
that
character.
oddly need to come back.
Not Degrassi.
No, Degrassi's still around, unfortunately.
That is
It's-
not good.
No, it's on Netflix now, I think. Its next class is on Netflix. But it's not.
Like I said, I never watched it.
It's not great anymore. I like the OG.
Which shows did it? Now, see, when I was growing up, I actually had like the basic cable where I could watch Cartoon Network and like Nickelodeon when they were super good. So I got to watch Are You Afraid of the Dark, Are Real Monsters. I got to
Horror
watch
Monsters.
Powerpuff Girls, the Teen
You
Titans.
look just
Oh
like...
my God, the Teen Titans animated series, not fucking Teen Titans Go.
There's so much porn based off of the Teen Titans animated series. I've been down some weird rabbit holes on the internet, man.
Yeah.
It was like, that's not a rabbit hole I needed to know about.
It's a hell of a hole.
That's what she said.
I believe she does in that porn that I watched about Teen Titans.
Oh.
Like, I shit you not, I wasn't even looking for porn. I was just like looking up something for Teen Titans because I was.
No.
We were doing a podcast on like I think it was Deathstroke or something. We were talking about his first appearance. So I'm like Teen Titans Deathstroke and like trying to find history and stuff. And it's just a video of him fucking railing Robin. And I'm like, what is this?
But now, let me tell you, you Googled for this?
I googled Teen Titans Deathstroke. I
Here-
got like 10 pages in before I found that.
Here's the thing.
I like 10 pages.
I was looking for something, I
to be
couldn't
fair,
find
you
it.
got like 10 pages in. And
Okay.
I'm
That's
like,
on
if
me.
anything, that says way more about your search history than
It
anything.
wasn't even my computer.
That says way more about their search history.
I buy that 100%.
Oh my god.
There's a lot of weird porn on the internet, all involving beloved cartoon characters from when I was a child.
So many of them. That's so terrifying. I know it exists.
I'm like, what's this video of the Powderpuff Girls? Why are they doing that to the professor?
With their nubbins. And their non-fingers, their nubbins.
Ever seen somebody jerk somebody off with a tree branch? 'Cause you're about to. It's like Evil Dead.
No. No.
That is the one scene in a horror movie that will make me sick every time I see it. Is that
No.
fucking tree just...
No. No. No.
All the nope in the world. And then some.
No.
We've done it. We broke Megan. Tonight's episode has been a success. We've achieved our goal, folks.
Dude, I was about half a second away from spitting that right
Why do you
on
think I did this? I'm watching you
Because
in the camera.
because you
You were almost covered.
just because you said the wrong thing at like just the wrong moment.
We're just gonna gloss over the "you were almost covered" comment because that almost came out.
So what were we actually trying to discuss in this one?
I have no fucking idea.
It's gone.
I just kept talking about Deathstroke railing Robin, and now
Can
I'm
we
just
talk about
watching that video in my head
the
again.
good things about Birds of Prey, even though they didn't actually get to Birds of Prey until the last like 5-10 minutes?
Yes.
That poor teenage boy in Deathstroke.
Don't.
I'm gonna have fucking nightmares.
No.
Why'd you bring it up then?
Stop.
His
Listen.
voice is so deep too. It's okay, Robin.
We've lost Logan.
When did we have him?
That's also accurate.
Listen.
Fly,
So-
little bird, fly. You'll be safe.
Someone needs to explain to me, like, we said it earlier, spoilers for Birds of Prey, but if people are just turning in, spoilers for Birds of Prey, why did this, like, little pickpocket find the intelligent decision to hide the diamond by swallowing it?
I'm
Why was that the
assuming-
intelligent way to hide it?
I'm assuming you're referring to Cassandra Cain, who is who they're
Yes.
trying to save.
Uh-huh.
Fun story, Cassandra Cain is actually Robin. in The Dark Knight Returns. The sequel series by Mr. Frank Miller.
But that doesn't explain her wanting to swallow the diamond. Why she thought that would be the best option.
It's harder to find.
I guess.
She's the one who has to search through her own shit later. Why did she do that to herself?
Movie's got a movie, man. Like, you gotta have a story.
I mean, yeah.
If she's just like, here it is, then that's not a good movie.
I mean, like, for the size that diamond was, did she not have any gum on her so she could, like, chew up some gum real quick, stick it behind her ear, and it'd be done?
I didn't watch the movie, but I'm gonna assume that doesn't make for a very good story.
I mean, no, it definitely doesn't.
It just makes it really funnier to watch Harley get all this stuff to make her shit.
Can't imagine why that movie didn't do well at the box office.
Oh darn, we spend over half the movie trying to get a preteen to shit.
His face. I mean, it's true.
Funny how the weird subplot about preteen shitting didn't really just soar into the box office. And fucking...
Right? That would be an interesting video topic of like.
It would not.
It would not.
Would you let me finish my thought ever?
Probably not. That's how I roll, man.
I mean, you know who you're talking
Bad
to.
movie plots that sound bad just from like the vaguest descriptor. Like
Harley Quinn tries to get teenage child to shit for 45 minutes.
there you go.
There you go. That's the point she's trying to make.
Transformers the movie.
No, there were actually like 5 different people trying to get a preteen to shit for an entire film.
Starting to think marketing wasn't the problem with that film.
I mean, there was other stuff that was in there, obviously, but
Really leaning towards marketing not being the problem.
I mean, there were some really good.
Lady
parts
with
of
a
that
stick
movie.
up her ass sends criminals on an errand to go get her.
I thought you literally meant somebody had a stick up their ass, and I thought you were still talking about Birds of Prey. And I was like,
So what movie do you know what movie I just
You
described?
just described Suicide Squad.
Yes.
We're doing bad elevator pitches? Is that what we've gone to?
Yes.
Fuck.
Think about it if that was one of the elevator pitches, though. But wouldn't that be an interesting thing of just, like, listing bad movie synopses?
Oh, that's actually a thing. Let's play a game. Not Saul.
Game over. You ruined it.
Alright, we're going to play Explain a Film Plot Badly.
Oh, we're actually going to do this? This is going to be great.
Alright. Don't look, because I'm in front of you, and I realize that that's how it's
He's like, we're gonna
I already
play
saw the first one!
Alright,
Too late!
number 2.
We're gonna play a game.
Group spends 9 hours returning jewelry. What movie is it?
A group spends 9 hours returning jewelry.
Yep. And Chad, if you know the answer, feel free to chime in.
9 hours returning jewelry. Someone had...
My favorite part of the podcast is the dead silence while they think.
It's a...
Thought this would be quicker. Silly me. Thought this one would be easy.
I think you misunderstand what kind of movies I watch.
Oh no, this is right up your fucking alley, trust me. It's high fantasy.
Moana.
That's not a 9-hour movie.
It's technically not jewelry.
Technically, yes.
It's the heart of the ocean.
It's the heart of the-
But she wears it around her neck the
But
entire
it
time.
wasn't a necklace until Grandma made it a necklace. But I'm gonna go with Lord of the Rings.
There's the
Yeah, I
right
was about
choice.
to say, the next one would be Lord of the Rings after that.
It was Lord of the Rings.
I thought you meant like 9 hours in movie time, not like 9 hours in freaking like actual real people time.
Alright, so next film on our list. Leonardo DiCaprio wanders a frozen wasteland in search of an Oscar.
Revenant.
That is The Revenant.
I can't think of the name of the movie. I was like, Covenant, no.
No,
It's
that's
similar
not-
to that, though.
Boy spends 7 years being a third wheel.
I mean, technically you can argue Twilight is that.
Twilight was the first one we skipped because you saw it. So not Twilight.
Well, he did spend several years.
And then he fell in love with her daughter.
Shouldn't he take like
That movie
brought
takes
up
a
an
weird turn.
Tumblr brought up an interesting point. Since he was partially
Tumblr
in
has
love
never
with
brought
Bella-
up an interesting point.
Yes, they did. They do. So
Sometimes.
We do not support
since he
Tumblr
was
here on this
part-
podcast.
Since he was partially attracted to Bella because of Renesmee, doesn't that also mean he should have been partially attracted to Ed?
Why do you think there was tension? There was
He
so
didn't know if because he wanted to hate him, but also fuck him at the same time.
there
for
was so
some
much
awkward reason.
sexual tension
He's
between
like,
that
my
vampire
boner
werewolf.
is so confused right now.
I can only get so erect. The answer is Harry Potter. Next on the list, Stockholm Syndrome works.
Beauty and the Beast.
There it is.
But it was not Stockholm Syndrome, and I can't actually explain why, but we won't do that.
We're playing a game. Let's move on.
That's what I said. We won't do that tonight.
Drug addicted girl takes advantage of mentally challenged boy for 3 decades.
For 30 years, drug addict.
I might not be a smart man, but I know what
Forrest
love
Gump.
is. A guy that's
oh, no, see, I was thinking it was someone in a closer relationship than that. I was thinking like a mom and son type deal. That's where my
why would a
mind
mom
was
fuck her
off track.
mentally challenged son? That doesn't even make sense.
The mom would be the drug addict for 30 years.
Next
And
movie
taking
on the
care of her
list.
mentally challenged son.
Here we go.
A guy that's alone in the forest kisses a dead body while 7 other guys watch.
That's Snow White.
That is Snow White. Nah, that's not a good one. Girl wakes up to a stranger on top of her in bed, but it's cool because he's hot.
Sleeping Beauty.
That is Sleeping Beauty. Noseless guy has an unhealthy obsession with a teenage boy.
What now?
Noseless guy has an unhealthy obsession with a
That's
teenage
Harry,
boy.
Harry
That
Potter.
is Harry Potter. Apparently we got duplicates on this list. A guy learns to love a girl without her Instagram filters.
Instagram filters.
It's kind of a vague stretch because this movie came out before Instagram. This movie
Oh.
released in 2001.
Okay, without. Oh, Shrek.
Yeah, that is Shrek.
And so once you said it was before actually Instagram came out, and I'm like,
This is the
Instagram
best one.
filter.
This is the best one. Kid comes out of the closet.
I mean, that could also be Harry Potter because he was.
Oh, Chronicles of Narnia?
It is the Chronicles of Narnia. This one not a film but a TV show. People drink coffee for 10 years.
Oh, Seinfeld.
Friends.
Oh,
Friends.
Friends. Well, they sit at a diner, and they're drinking coffee. And
But
that's
Central Park was more of a Friends.
Girl has to pretend she's a man to be taken seriously.
Mulan.
That is Mulan.
I was about to say,
Which comes out soon, guys.
I was about to say, there's like 50 movies that technically fit that description. She's the Man, Victor Victoria.
All 50. Right there.
But I was just naming a couple.
She named
There
2
are a bunch
movies.
of them.
2 movies. She's like 50 movies. I know 2. A family's first Airbnb
I was
experience
letting
goes
her
very...
chime in with a couple, but she wasn't helping.
It doesn't help when you interrupt the game. Family's first Airbnb experience goes very wrong. Megan has not seen this movie.
I don't know that I've seen this movie.
You have seen this movie. You've also seen its sequel.
Did I see the sequel with you?
You did.
Oh, was it The Shining?
It's The Shining.
Oh. I don't know how that's Airbnb exactly.
I mean, it's bad synopses, so that's where that comes
Well, at least
from. He's like, you've also seen the sequel, and I was like, what movies have I seen with you lately?
Paranoid billionaire afraid of immigrant.
Batman v Superman.
There you go, champ.
Like, wait. I was going Iron Man first, and I'm like, no, not quite. But I'm right idea, wrong universe.
We're gonna skip that one
Why?
because it's man-child learns to be an adult.
Oh.
It's every Adam Sandler movie ever, folks. Literally, that's what it is, because that's every Adam Sandler movie ever. Like, I'll show the...
I don't... 50 First Dates doesn't really fit that description, though.
Can't really see it. There it goes. Sort of.
We tried.
We tried the podcast.
Accurate title. A series of naps.
Series of naps. That seems like Rip Van Winkle, but no.
It's not Rip Van Winkle.
That could also describe Nemo's adventures in Slumberland, but I know that's not what it is either.
What film released in the last 15 years is literally just about going to sleep?
Oh, there's no. I was like, there's a horror film that's related.
It's not Nightmare on Elm Street.
No, that's not the one I was thinking of. There was a different one where a little kid actually, when they sleep,
Oh, that's the
their dreams come
Netflix
to
one.
life.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Sarah's right. It is Inception.
And
Sarah's right. Yay, Sarah.
Depressed widowed father teams up with mentally challenged woman to find his disabled son.
Finding Nemo.
That is Finding Nemo. Father reunites with long lost son, wants him to take over the family business.
say what now? Read it again.
Father reunites with long lost son, wants him to take over the family business.
Reuniting with a long lost son to take over the family business.
We covered this series today, actually, in our first discussion about misrepresentation.
You're asking a lot of us here. We can't even remember what we had for dinner sometimes, okay?
Remember an hour ago. Fuck.
I mean, logistically, it's not wrong.
Star Wars.
Episode 4.
Okay, I could see that. Because oddly, I was drawn to Elf at first, and I'm like, nope, that's the other way around.
A young boy discovers that having hard wood in your hand can lead to all sorts of magic.
I mean, the movie Onward that's coming out soon could technically describe that, I guess. That could describe a Harry Potter film.
It is Harry Potter. Bullied kid with birth defect proves people are only nice when they need something.
It sounds like Harry Potter again.
It's not. It's not Harry Potter.
Kid with birth defect.
Use the term kid loosely because it's not a human.
Megamind?
It's not Megamind. Megamind was kind of human. Well, he's an alien, but
Yeah.
it wasn't really a birth defect. He was just an alien.
He had a huge head and he was blue.
That's his entire race. That's not a birth defect. Birth defects
It
when
could
you
be considered a birth defect.
birth defects when you come out like, man, where'd all my fingers go?
Unless the rest of your race also has no fingers, then it makes sense. I'm curious if Sarah's gonna get this one.
Birth defect.
I'm trying to like move so Lisa's in the shot, and it's not work. Lisa, can you move that way a little more?
No, there's a box here.
Yeah,
Literally.
probably work if we pushed this back. It'd probably work if we pushed the little table back somewhat. That'd probably be slightly.
Is that better?
Well, you're on camera now, so it is.
I don't know how to read.
Anybody got any ideas on the bullied birth defect child?
They're nice when they need some. I'm just cycling through Disney films I know now.
It's not a Disney film.
Well, I'm done.
Megan's dead.
I will say that he had a very shiny nose.
Rudolph.
It is
Oh. That's why kid should have been used loosely.
Yes.
Okay.
We weren't even talking about an actual, humanoid.
This is kind of fucked up. A wise cracking boiler technician teaches high school students to believe in their dreams.
You know, when you started the first half, I was thinking it was Spirited Away, but it's not.
It's not.
Not when you use plural. Boilerman teaches teenagers
To believe in their
to believe
dreams.
in their dreams.
Remember, we're explaining it badly. Take dreams to be literal.
Thomas the Tank Engine. I don't know. Thomas and the Magic Train. I don't know.
A Nightmare on Elm Street. Lunatic enslaves chocolate-making entertainer slowly kills children in front of their parents.
Willy Wonka and the Chocolate
Or
It
Factory.
is
Charlie
Willy
and the
Wonka.
Chocolate Factory.
It's Willy Wonka. Guys, we're playing a game called Explain That Film Plot Badly. I'm going to give a bad explanation of a film with its plot, and you have to try and beat them in answering what it is.
Which should be pretty easy because we're moving slow.
Woman abandons all her standards to win back a horny teenager with greasy hair.
Grease?
That is Grease.
I was about to say, that sounds like...
A billionaire devotes his fortune to cosplay and beating up the mentally ill. You guys do have an advantage because there's a delay between this and what they see. So I can end the podcast when somebody says some stupid shit that's not allowed to go out.
Cosplay. Oh,
But
it's Batman.
which Batman is it? It's a specific one. And Sarah
The
beat.
animated series?
Nope, it's a movie. Sarah beat you to Batman, by the way.
Batman Begins?
No, that's not really the mentally ill.
I don't know, the Riddler.
Was never in a Batman movie. Well, Jim Carrey's mentally
I
ill.
was about
but-
to say wrong.
Oh, wait a minute.
Wrong.
He was
wrong,
never in a
very
Batman
wrong.
movie that we consider to be a Batman movie. Heath Ledger's Joker, The Dark Knight. Illegal immigrant chased by the feds. Yes, Sarah, it was The Dark Knight. You were correct. Next on the list, illegal immigrant chased by the feds. All he wanted was his one phone call.
I mean...
E.T.?
It is E.T. That's a good one, but pointless. Old man obsessively stalks teenage girl.
It's Twilight.
That is Twilight. It's absolutely Twilight. Guy wants to bone Siri.
Her.
That is her. Abused orphan drops out of school to kill a man with no nose, starts a war.
That's another Harry Potter
That
one.
is a Harry Potter one. Love triangle between an 18-year-old girl, a 100-year-old guy, and a dog.
Twilight.
That is Twilight. Even God's got Twilight. Oh, that's the best. Small town doctor brings 3 people closer together. That's fucking horrible.
Centipede.
That is Human Centipede. A depressed office worker joins a cult and destabilizes the government.
Joker.
Nope. It's a movie you took a very hardline stance on earlier for some fucking reason.
I take hardline stances on a lot of movies.
The movie came out in 1997. It was a weird choice.
Matrix.
It is The Matrix. After the death of her parents, a young socialite causes millions in property damage.
I mean, sounds like Batman again, but
It's not
a
Batman.
female, though.
It's a socialite.
Did we talk about this earlier too?
We absolutely did.
It's Frozen.
It is Frozen.
She didn't do any property damage.
She froze the entire
Fire.
land.
Yeah.
Do you know how hard it is to thaw that shit out?
She
Badly.
thought it herself.
It's badly. Remember, this is describing it badly.
Oh,
But
this.
at least the
this
plot's
is-
accurate in some stance.
Divorced man discovers he is trans, loses custody of children.
Mrs. Doubtfire.
That is Mrs. Death. I'm shocked that you got that as quickly as you did.
You may or may not have heard of some of these before.
I know you guys haven't seen this, but I love this description. An alcoholic orphan and his boss burned down his family home. This is also a series we talked about today.
Alcoholic boss.
No, the orphan is the alcoholic.
Of orphan is boss.
Burned down his family home. You guys, I guarantee will not know this because I don't think either of you have seen the movie. That is the plot to Skyfall,
Oh yeah,
which is
no, I
a
haven't
James
seen
Bond movie.
that. We almost went and seen that. Went and seen Creed instead.
You made the right choice. Although Skyfall is good, without seeing the other ones, you would have been confused. Emo teen can't live up to grandfather's legacy, takes it out on his dad.
He can't live up to his grandfather's legacy, so he takes it out on his dad.
Is that going to be the new Star Wars?
That is the new Star Wars. Emo Kylo Ren. Jesus Christ. This might be the best one. Priest kidnaps child for cult and eventual marriage to politician twice his age.
Priest.
Remember Film Pop Badly? They're not actually priest. But their order seems like it would be religious in this universe.
He marries a politician twice his age?
He does. I'm shit at this. Don't worry, so are they. Oh, they got Mrs. Doubtfire quick as fuck. Which was real weird.
Like I said, I may or may not have heard of some of these bad descriptions.
That's fine. I think the most famous one is the Finding Nemo one, though.
Right.
I'm just going to give it to you so we can move on. This one is also Star Wars. Episode 1, The Phantom Menace.
Oh, okay.
Cultural appropriation in space. Cultural appropriation in space is the next one.
Is that supposed to be Star Wars again?
It's not Star Wars this time. Oh, there's a lot of Star Wars on this list. I've skipped past like 17 Star Wars at this point.
There's several ways you can badly describe what Star Wars is.
You can accurately describe Star Wars and it still sounds bad. I fucking love Star Wars, but if you're like, yeah, man, some fucking space Jesus guy has a laser sword and he's gonna go fight some guy in a suit.
Yo.
That guy's got a laser sword with 2 edges, though. Badass.
I gotta tell you, that guy's got a sunburn like you wouldn't believe.
Horns all over his head.
He's been working on his cosplay for months.
There's a really awkward racist Jamaican guy, too, and I don't know why. Keeps fucking everything up. He kind of goes away
I
after the
forgot the
first
plot
one.
we were trying to figure out.
All right, let's try it again. Cultural appropriation in space.
It wouldn't be something like E.T. again.
It's not E.T.?
It's not, no.
E.T. did not take place in space. This movie takes place on a different planet.
It's not Mars Needs Moms.
It's not Mars Needs Moms.
It's not 51.
Don't know what that is, so no.
It's not Guardians of the Galaxy.
It is not Guardians of the Galaxy.
Endgame?
It is not a... Well, Disney owns it, but it was a Fox property. It also was the highest grossing movie of all time. Until Endgame.
Titanic?
Not Titanic.
Avatar?
It is not Star Trek, it is Avatar. It is Ferngully with blue people. This is a great one. You're not going to get this because this description is that bad. A dad has to go pick up his daughter.
Taken?
You looked at it.
No, I didn't.
Motherfucker. I leaned back and...
I looked this way. I'm completely looking off camera. How could I see it?
Talking bacon.
Talking bacon?
Talking bacon.
Charlotte's Web?
I can understand why you'd say that, but no.
Babe?
It's the other. Yeah, it's Babe. It's the other one.
It's not that one, it's the other.
Oh my god, this is my new favorite one.
He's gonna have a new favorite every like 10
I probably am. These are great. A young man forcibly binds other men and photographs them for money.
Dexter?
No. I will tell you if it's a TV show.
Okay.
Although that one's pretty good too. That's a good guess. I like that.
I was about to say, am
That's a
I
good
wrong
one.
about Dexter?
But to be fair, he doesn't sell the pictures for money. Those are for his personal collection.
No.
He just goes home and masturbates to them.
No, he takes the pictures for his
Of the victims.
blood splatter.
He doesn't take pictures for that. He just takes the blood spatter. The pictures are for the victims. He has pictures of the victims that he shows the people he's going to kill. I've watched that series at least 15 times because if I like something, I like something.
I couldn't watch after the Trinity Killer thing.
Yeah, I get up to Trinity and then I stop watching because the last couple seasons of that show were rough.
I read the synopses of it. It was
That's enough. You didn't have to watch it. You didn't miss much. And this one is, a young man forcibly binds other men and photographs them for money.
Spider-Man?
He does do whatever a spider can. What's all the immigrant ones?
Was I right?
You were right, it's Spider-Man.
Okay, thank you. That's what I needed to know.
If I give a snide little quip afterwards, you've probably gotten it right. Immigrant adoptee is... We're going to skip that one because I can't read that word. What the fucking... Are you serious?
Larry said he's going to have a new favorite. Like
I don't know, this isn't a favorite, it's just interesting. Boy runs away from home, joins gang, then gets beat up by girl who collects trash.
Ragnarok?
No, but that's a good answer.
That was my
That is a good answer.
Because I'm like, girl who collects trash. It's fucking Valkyrie.
Different strong female lead that nerds got pissed about.
Collects trash. I know it's not accurate.
No, this is accurate. Literally what she does. This is her life before the movies kick off. She's a scavenger.
Is that Star Wars again?
It is Star Wars again. Kylo Ren runs away from
Can
home.
we not? Can we skip over all the fucking Star Wars ones? My God.
Look, man, I
I
didn't make
just
the
don't
list.
want to keep like guessing this. Like, as soon as you start reading a description, I'm gonna say Star Wars
Or Harry Potter.
Or
Possibly
Harry
Twilight.
Potter. Just
Possibly
Star Wars, Harry Potter, Twilight. That's all I'm gonna start with every time now.
She started wearing less and started going out more.
Twilight.
No. It's not one of the big three.
Started wearing less, started going out more.
I remember this movie fondly, but I don't remember what it's describing exactly.
More or less, started going out more.
I got another, man. I don't even know how to give hints on this one. There's a very important date in this movie that gets repeated on Facebook every time that date comes around.
Oh, it's the live action
It's
one.
not. There was never a cartoon of this. Whenever.
Really? Because that describes the live action of Alice in Wonderland, though, pretty well. At least badly.
Mean Girls?
It is Mean Girls.
He said date, October 3rd.
Couldn't remember the date. If I could have, I would have said it.
On Wednesdays we wear pink.
You could have also said that when I gave it away.
A beautiful princess gets catfished.
That's Shrek again.
It's not.
Yes, it is, though.
She did not get catfished.
Yes, she did, though.
He got catfished.
No, she got catfished.
She knew he was an ogre when he saved her.
No,
I meant with the Farquaad.
That's fair. Didn't think about that route.
Because when he was sitting on the horse, he looked a lot taller. And
That's fair. Did not go there. Aladdin is correct. She gone, bro. This is another repeat.
Oh. It's not Harry Potter.
She gone, bro would not describe Harry Potter. You are correct.
Twilight.
Nope.
Well,
It's not one of the big three.
Not one of the big three.
It's one of the small two.
she gone, bro.
Logan's dancing. Do you have Jeopardy music playing in your head?
Yes.
She gone, bro.
Boop, 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 boop. It's the one I thought you cheated on.
Oh.
Dad has to go pick up his daughter. Taken.
I've never actually seen Taken, but that's just how I've heard it poorly described before.
Yeah, that's a pretty accurate description. Man builds house, bangs average girl till ex comes back before her Alzheimer's kicks in.
The Notebook?
That is the Notebook. That's Star Wars. We're going to skip it. I've never seen that movie. That's Star Wars. That's Batman. That's all of them. The Notebook, yes, Sarah did get it eventually. All right, there's another list. We'll try the other list, see if it's different.
A gorgeous queen that looks exactly like Charlize Theron is so mentally ill that a mirror tricks her into believing that Kristen Stewart is prettier than her.
That's Emma Huntsman. You said Kristen Stewart, and I'm like, oh, fuck, come on now.
Rich girl lets poor man freeze to death.
That's Titanic.
That is absolutely Titanic.
Absolutely Titanic.
Because everyone points out he could have been on the raft with her, but
On the door.
he could have been on the door too.
But-
They could fit.
They could fit, but would the dwarf stay afloat?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the bigger question.
There was plenty of surface area for that to float. Americans finally bothered to learn a foreign language. Best fucking one. So true.
It's not Coco.
It is not. I've seen this one. I take that back. I haven't actually seen this one. I watched a thing that described what the movie was, and that was good enough for me.
Okay, so it wasn't Avatar.
It's not Avatar. Unfortunately, I did see Avatar. That movie's fucking horrible. Makes no sense to me that it made as much money as it did. Arrival is correct.
Never seen it. Never even heard of it.
It's actually super cool concept. Like, a really, really interesting movie
I've never seen that movie.
that I've never seen. Talking frog convinces his son to kill dad. Strong with the force he is.
Oh!
Yoda is that talking frog.
No, we're skipping those!
It was too good to skip.
Well, at least give us a warning.
Please give us a warning when the big three's in the rotation.
Older sister ruins younger sister's chance to appear on television.
I mean, Britney Spears.
No, whoever's dick Jamie was riding on ruined her chance to be on television. Brittany had nothing to do with it.
But she was on Mickey Mouse Club. She was first.
Didn't ruin it. I get the joke you're trying to tell, but you're like me right now, attempting at humor, and it's not working.
I'm just saying, that also applies.
Pour one out for Rue.
Really? Hunger Games?
That is absolutely Hunger Games. I volunteer as tribute. Adorable trash can and flower pot force fat people to walk.
Wally?
That is Wally.
An adorable trash can. Yep, that's Wally.
After losing his father, a young boy joins a hippie group and becomes a vegan.
Is that one of the big three?
No, this is a new one. We haven't had one of these yet.
Okay, because that does sound like Anakin for sure.
Anakin didn't have a father.
Becomes vegan.
Repeat it.
After losing his father, a young boy joins a...
Lion
It is the Lion King.
See, when you say boy, I'm still thinking humans, but I need to remember it's not always humanoids every time.
Yes, Sarah, Lion King, you were correct. A bald guy teams up with another bald guy to fight another bald guy. This is a series we've talked about today.
Fast and the Furious.
It is Fast and the Furious.
Another series I've never seen. I just see it has so many movies.
What are they up to? 9, 10?
That's 9.
Everyone tries the Ice Bucket Challenge.
It's Titanic.
It is Titanic again.
It's really not how the ice bucket challenge works.
Topical small side thing, and it is pop culture-y. They actually are remaking a Titanic, and they are going to sail it next year. And
thought you
take
meant the
same
movie.
route.
Thought you meant the movie.
No, I meant the actual boat.
Whatever makes him happy.
And they're
gonna-
remaking the boat and taking the same route the boat was
Listen,
meant to take.
the first one didn't do that well. I wouldn't set foot on that boat.
I know, right?
To be fair, the first one doesn't always have to do well to get a sequel.
That's also
There's
true.
been 6 Transformers.
That's fair.
Resident Evils, Fast and Furious, Oceans, James Bond, every Sonic video game after the first one.
The one where Jennifer Aniston lost her man in front of the world. This gave birth to Brangelina.
Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
That is Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
In front of the world, though.
Yeah, I mean, that was a real big one, driving one. Up in Angelina.
Okay.
Unpopular kids beat up a starving homeless guy. Sorry, harmless.
Words are harsh.
Homeless starving clown.
Is
It is it. Woman murders woman for a pair of sparkly shoes.
Wizards of
That
Oz!
is the Wizard of Oz.
Listen, you said shoes, and we both like, got it.
Guy lets his planet get destroyed because he doesn't want his sister living there. Yes, Conch, it was it. Trust me, I can tell where the delay's at, so I know if you're actually answering, so I can give you credit. It's okay.
Doesn't want to destroy his planet because he doesn't want his sister living on it. It's not Wonder Woman.
It's
I mean,
not.
it sounds similar to Wonder Woman, but it's.
Don't remember her destroying a planet?
I thought you said the older brother destroyed the planet because he didn't want her living on it.
Guy lets his planet get destroyed because he doesn't want his sister living there.
Okay.
Do, 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 boom, boom. Let's do get help. I don't want to do get help. It is absolutely Ragnarok. You have to drastically change your looks and shut up to get the man of your dreams.
Little Mermaid.
That is the Little Mermaid. Man grows potatoes. I'll be astonished.
Martian?
Are you fucking kidding me? How? How did you get that? How did you get that from that?
Because the only thing I remember about Martian, it's a dude that's farming on Mars, so it's the only thing I knew. It's the only thing I could guess.
A scientist travels to the other part of his daughter's bedroom.
Scientist does?
A scientist travels to the other part of his daughter's bedroom. Fairly accurate, actually.
It's not Narnia again.
No, this one's not Narnia.
Megan's like, I'm done, I'm confused.
I can't even think of a hint to give for this one because it's a mindfuck of a movie that I could only watch once.
Okay.
Like, great movie. The science is just overwhelming.
So,
Like, it just gives you so much information that you just have to nod and you agree.
what is it, you dingus?
I thought you were still going to guess.
Oh,
No!
Then say I'm not going to guess.
We're not gonna guess.
Interstellar. Jesus.
Never even seen it.
Yeah, me either.
I didn't know if you would have seen it or not because you fucking got Mrs. Doubtfire off of Transphobia, so what the fuck? Girl gets horny with a fish.
Oh,
I'm shocked that you know this
Shape
one.
of Water.
Yeah. Real weird that you got that quickly. It
It's the only thing people talked about with that film.
was a weird scene.
It's literally the only thing I know about that film.
Weird scene. Yeah, that's the one. Transformers, but it's good.
Power Rangers?
No. I think you missed the good part.
Power Rangers are good. Who the fuck are you?
Not the movie. The movie was not.
Debatable. I thought the one with all the I thought all the Red Rangers coming together was fucking amazing. And I followed
That was
the
a
original Red
made-for-TV
Ranger
movie.
on TikTok.
That was a made-for-TV movie. It doesn't count.
Yes, they do.
Oh, good. They think they're movies.
Hey, if Netflix counts, then so do those.
Netflix films release in theaters still. They have to be considered for Oscar contention.
I forgot what movie we were trying to describe.
Transformers, but it's good.
Transformers.
Yet another movie with Vin Diesel, strangely enough. I think Jennifer Aniston's in this one too. They only do voices because it's a cartoon. He has a nuclear bomb in his chest. I'm really upset that you haven't gotten it yet.
You're gonna say it is, but
What part of cars do they have a nuclear bomb in their chest? Sarah, what?
I was like, neither one of us said cars. Wait a second.
What's your favorite part of Cars when Lightning McQueen was like, I'm gonna nuke this whole motherfucker? It's like, I'm gonna win this race because everybody's gonna be dead. And the famous scene between fucking Vin Diesel and Jennifer
I'm
Aniston.
done.
I'm done too.
The Iron Giant.
Oh man.
See, I was thinking of multiple robots, and I'm like, there was just the one in that one.
There is a delay as. Oh, yeah, that's right. I guess that was close. Okay, calm down. It was still funny to make the assumption. A tree, a rabbit, a pirate angel spend 2 hours building an axe in space.
Isn't that Thor?
It is not Thor.
No, I know it, but Thor does do that.
Thor is in this movie.
So yeah, it's Avengers.
Which one? No, not Guardians. Thor is in this one. He will be in the next Guardians. I don't think he was in 2.
Jesus Christ. Why
Not a
can't I
member of
think
the Avengers,
subtitle?
strangely enough. Jesus not in there.
I can't think of the subtitle for the one before Endgame.
Infinity War.
There you
It
go.
is Infinity War.
I couldn't think of
The
the
only thing I
title
could
of it.
focus on was Peter Dinklage in that scene.
Yo,
That one's kind of fucked
Tyrion
up.
Lannister.
Right, I'm like, this is not where you belong.
You don't belong here. You're in the wrong franchise. You're in the wrong mythos.
Oh my god, I love this one. It's one of the big 3.
Okay.
Just gonna say that. Depressed wizard comes out of retirement to
Oh,
pull a prank on his nephew. That's the best description for this movie. Because that's what happens. It's fucking great.
Oh, God.
Oh, that's amazing.
That's so good.
I want to give Chad a second before we move on, because I'm assuming everybody knows it.
Yep.
And time's up, Chad. Star Wars, The Last Jedi. Very repetitive film.
George Lucas has always stated about Star Wars. It's like a song. It
No,
rhymes.
I think that was.
That's literally the description for the next one. It's a very repetitive film.
Groundhog Day.
It is Groundhog Day. Mentally feeble man meets Elvis, and that's somehow the least memorable event in his life.
Like Forrest Gump.
That is Forrest Gump. A quiet, seemingly harmless teacher manipulates and grooms a 6-year-old witch to help her get promoted and steal a house from a relative. Fuck, that one's a lot. That is Matilda. Good job, Sarah. This is one of the big 3. A boy escapes from a cupboard and goes to a castle, then uses a stick to kill a pale guy with no
That's
nose.
Harry Potter.
One of the big 3. 2 robots go to a drug dealer's mansion to help steal his wall art and blow up his yacht. That's fucking amazing. Oh my god. That's fucking amazing.
That's a person describing Star Wars who's never actually seen Star Wars before, just showing them the clip of a scene and being like, describe to me what happened in that scene.
But it is what happens because they go to Jabba, his palace, which he's a drug dealer, and they steal his wall art, which is Han Solo because he's frozen in
Just a
carbonite.
drug dealer,
No,
though.
but he is one. That's what I'm saying. It's accurate.
Right.
Battle, walking, talking trees, battle, walking, battle. Throw a trinket into a
Lord of the
volcano.
Rings.
That is Lord of the Rings.
A story how a ghost teaches kids to save power.
Ghost.
It's a horror movie and not a very good one.
Well, I'm out. I don't really
Yeah,
know horror movies.
it's lights out. It wasn't very good.
Oh.
King kills his cousin so that he can steal his ID and get credit for it.
Hamlet.
No. This one is Marvel. Think of Marvel movies that have kings.
Oh, now see, I just thought you were like
Saying that that's
moving
what it
on to
was.
something else.
Nope.
That's what you thought that saying the title was, and we're like,
Nope.
okay, move on.
It is a Marvel film.
Now, describe it again, because I've forgotten already.
King kills his cousin so that he can steal his ID and get the credit for it.
Oh, a king kills his cousin. So he can steal an idea and get credit.
It's got Michael B. Jordan.
Oh, Black Panther.
It is Black Panther. A jerk crashes a party, then the squad goes after him. Another Marvel film.
Suicide Squad?
That's not Marvel.
Oh, right.
Bold choice.
I completely filtered out that he said that it was a Marvel, and I'm just like...
It's a Marvel movie, the one with
I'm
the
like,
Joker,
I heard
right?
Squad. And so I just heard Squad, and I'm just like...
That is Avengers. You are correct, Sarah.
I literally did not hear him say Marvel at all.
All right. That is enough of that. That was fun.
That was very fun.
I think we'll play more games in the future. If I can think of games to play. We've been going for 2 hours. I think that's enough for the night.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody who came out. You guys are awesome. Love you all. Remember, if you're watching this on YouTube, that you can catch us every Monday live at 6 o'clock p.m. Or
Try to be on time.
within 10 minutes, I guess. But thank you so much. I've been your big gay Viking Logan. That one's
Lisa.
That one's
Megan.
And we will see you next time for another episode of my Big Gay Live podcast.